Sunday.
Big Ron's back at Old Trafford. He ran them close last season, but now he faces a Manchester United team that's romping away with the title. Can Ron and Aston Villa do anything to stop the champions today?
Ford Super Sunday.
We're at Old Trafford to see last season's 1 and 2, the champions Manchester United and Aston Villa. And what a prospect. On the last two occasions that they've played each other, they produced arguably the best games of 1993. Hands up if you want more of the same.
Now Staunton. It's a good try. It's a fantastic goal. A fabulous match here and a goal worthy of the occasion. Owen, it might come Cantona's way here. And Mark Hughes. 1-1. Ryan Giggs for Manchester United. Richardson! Oh. The cross comes in and a chance for Atkinson and nearly a goal. Hughes gets the better of McGrath. Giggs has carried on with his run. Chance here for Manchester United and still could be a goal. It is for Lee Sharp. Manchester United won, and Lee Sharp marks his return to the side with a goal. Richardson there, and the header down, and almost in by Dalian Atkinson. Here's Dalian Atkinson. Saunders has pulled away to the far post. Atkinson might go on his own. Way back in, only as far as Kevin Richardson, who's lining this one up, and it hits a boat! Onside here, Ryan Giggs. A little bit wide still, Giggs. Can he do it? Oh, the inside of the post! Can you believe it? Here is Sharp, one-on-one. Here's a chance for his second goal, and United second, and he's taken it. 2-1.
Ron Atkinson and Alex Ferguson, two men whose teams went stride for stride for much of last season. Back in action today on Ford Super Sunday. We're at Old Trafford for the FA Carling Premiership showdown between Manchester United and Aston Villa. And everything about United these days is champion. This place, a match day here for spectators now. Their form right now, which is why all the neutrals will want Aston Villa to win today. Big Ron, of course, knows his way around this place well enough. But can he become the first manager to guide his team to a win here since Joe Kinnear back on October the 31st, 1992? Since then, United have played 30, won 24 and drawn 6. Our guests here today, Sammy McIlroy, who was a cup winner with United in 77, scored in the 79 final, and Peter Withe, who was a European Cup winner with Aston Villa. Welcome both. Peter, you saw the last two meetings between these two. How good were they, in your opinion?
They were brilliant, to be fair. I mean, the pace of the game and everything. I mean, they had goals, action. I mean, you couldn't ask for very much more. Mind you, it's always been a tradition, to be fair. I mean, going back to when Sammy and myself played, we were the same. I remember a game at Villa Park, we were 3-1 up and it ended up 3-3, so there was always goals and there was always excitement for the fans.
Which bodes well for the day. Bobby Gould in the boot room with Andy this week, Sam. He said the game at Villa Park this season was the best he's seen ever. Do you agree with him?
That was a bit of a statement, one at that, but I actually thought the game here last year was the best I ever seen. Me and Peter were talking about the goal Staunton scored from the angle. I mean, it was tremendous. I don't think the ball hardly ever left the floor, and it was great.
How can two teams do that when, particularly last season here, there was so much to lose, really, wasn't there? Whoever got beaten last season could virtually write the title off then, but it went on after that.
That's right. I mean, I think that game, everyone was a championship decider. It finished up the way it did, and then Villa just seemed to drop away, and United went on to do it. But again, I mean, as I said, the two managers, I mean, they want to play football, and it's great. I mean, this will be full today, great atmosphere, and I'm expecting, as Peter said, more goals.
What about Old Trafford now? I mean, you enjoyed some wonderful years here, but like so many more, through 26 years, failed to deliver the title. But Alex Ferguson, of course, has done that now, hasn't he?
Well, that's right. I mean, you look at the stadium, and it's magnificent. I mean, I came in today, and it looks like a foreign stadium. It's absolutely tremendous. And as I say, Ferguson's done the job.
I'm pleased to say it's beginning to look more like an English stadium, because there are one or two up and down the country now that are looking like this, Peter, and not before time, eh?
Yeah, quite true, to be fair. I mean, when you used to play abroad and you see the stadiums that they used to play in, I mean, Non Camp in Barcelona, Real Madrid's stadium, all of them really were geared for the public, because at the end of the day, you were entertainers and you're entertaining people, and you should give them. I mean, I played in America and the stadiums out there were geared for the public, and that's the way it should be going, really.
And we have got entertainers in action today. This is what else we've got on Super Sunday. Coming up very shortly now, we'll be having a look at how these two have been getting on this season. Then we'll be talking to Ron Atkinson, who returns to Old Trafford again today. At 2:40, we've got our own Super Sunday look back at yesterday's goals. And at 3:25, a closer look at the world's #1 manager, Fergie. At around about 3:50, Andy Gray will tell us what we can expect today. We kick off at 4 o'clock, 1 and 2 last season, United against Villa. And Jonathan Pearce is back in the talkback seat at 6 o'clock. The main attraction, of course, Manchester United against Aston Villa. Let's meet the rest of our team today. Nick Collins is usually pitch side, not so today. Nick, where are you and why?
Yes, Richard, I'm actually in the warmth and the dry for once. I'm in the press room here at Old Trafford. Though in actual fact it looks more like a press theatre. There are over 60 seats in this auditorium, and up on the stage behind me, all the chairs have the Manchester United club crest on them. Photographs on the walls, well, they've got pictures of Manchester United winning trophies at home and in Europe. But the reason we're here is that at around about 3:30 this afternoon, we're going to witness an historic sponsorship deal signed between Manchester United and Sharp Electronic UK Limited. The 4-year deal will start in June '94 and extend to the end of the 1997-98 season, and it'll be one of the longest and most important deals in British soccer. It'll also extend the link between the company and the football club to 16 years. Now, the two men who'll be signing on the dotted line will be Martin Edwards, the chairman of Manchester United, and Mr. Sadayoshi Mikuni, who is the chairman and managing director of Sharp UK Limited. Now, we don't know exactly how much money we're talking here, but I think it's fairly safe to assume that it's going to be millions of pounds. Sharp UK, well, their annual turnover is well over £200 million. And of course, it's entirely appropriate, really, isn't it, that Sharp sponsor Manchester United, because their UK headquarters is at Newton Heath, and that, of course, is where United were founded and where they took their first name from. So, as I say, join us again around about 3:30 for the signing of this historic sponsorship deal. Richard.
Thank you, Nick. Martin Tyler is waiting to talk to us. What about the prospect of these two in action again then, Martin?
I was just wondering there, the best bit of pronunciation of the afternoon came from Nick Collins with that Japanese name. That was quite terrific. Hello again, everyone. Compliments of the season to you all. Yes, it is a mouth-watering prospect. But you know, if Aston Villa are craning their necks, looking up at the table to the top to see Manchester United, maybe they'll feel they're partially to blame for United being so far away, because the catalyst for some significant change at Old Trafford came when Manchester United lost twice in, 10 days, some 40 months ago, at Villa Park. After that, Alex Ferguson got his defence sorted out. He had Paul Parker available again. And give or take the odd game, that defence has been in action ever since and has been a real cornerstone of the side. And also, after the second defeat there, Peter Schmeichel spoke out publicly and said it was time for Manchester United to go into the transfer market. Well, again, Alec had a look round and he came up with a certain Eric Cantona just a few weeks later, and the rest, as they say, is history. If you want perhaps some hope for the challenging pack, well, United have won only 2 of their last 5 league games, and they've drawn their last 2 here at Old Trafford, being held by Ipswich and by Norwich City. And of course, Ron Atkinson's certain to come here with a trick or 2 up his sleeve, and he'll have done his homework on Manchester United. But there's sure to be plenty of oohs and ahs, ooh-ah, Cantona, ooh-ah, Paul McGrath. Roll on the kickoff.
Yes, here. And pitch side, as you can see, is Andy Gray. Andy, good afternoon.
Hi Richard, not pitch side actually, but right in the middle of the centre circle at Old Trafford here, because I thought what would be interesting was, when I arrived here, the first thing that struck me was the fierceness of the wind. It really is blowing close to the gale force outside the stadium. Well, you can see the flags there, they really are blowing. But I thought, come inside. One of the advantages of this ground these days, totally enclosed, is, I mean, you look around, you look at me, a man with very little hair, as you know, Richard, and look how still it is. Well, nearly, let me get that down. But the wind really is down to a breeze here, so that won't really affect the players, and that is a huge bonus. There's nothing worse than a strong wind to spoil what could be a classic game. The other thing you know about Manchester, it always rains here. There's been gallons and gallons of rain falling on this pitch. I arrived here this morning, I was slightly concerned. The last game to be cancelled here at Old Trafford was 2 years ago against Aston Villa for a waterlogged pitch. But Keith Kent came out, took me out to the middle of the pitch. He said, Andy, there have been 350 gallons an hour draining off this pitch since this morning. So if you look down here, I mean, you can actually see how remarkably solid it is. Look at that, a lovely bit of give. Players will come out here, they'll probably pick a short to medium stud. It's perfect. It's a little bit softer on either side, but it's absolutely perfect. Another thing that struck me about this ground, I've been standing here for 10 minutes just looking around at it. You know, if I was Alex Ferguson, you know how you hear about all these managers who meet players in motorway cafes and motorway services, they meet them in hotels to talk about contracts. You know what I'd do? I'd walk out of that tunnel with them, contract in hand, right? Bring them into the middle of the pitch, take out the contract, say to the lads, listen, have a look round this stadium. Is there anywhere else you would rather play in this country? And I tell you, very few players would get out of there not having signed a contract.
Yeah, absolutely right. Andy Gray will be back up here very shortly to look back on yesterday's goals. A little bit different, that piece today from Andy, because he never scored here at Old Trafford. We're in the company here today of Sammy McElroy and Peter with. Sammy, historically not the best playing surface here at Old Trafford, but my goodness, haven't they done some work on it over the past year or two?
Tremendous. I mean, I was down there with Andy before, and they have actually improved the pitch no end. Me and Peter were talking about it a few years ago, and I mean, it was a dreadful surface. But this new groundsman, Keith Kent, he's really done a remarkable job.
Tell you, Andy's told us once or twice, of course, about how he nearly came and played here, Peter. Was that not also the case for you?
Yeah, Ron's tried to sign me on a couple of occasions, once when he was at West Brom and once when he was here, but I kept rubbing salt in his wounds because I kept scoring against them every time I played against them. You're right about the stadium. I mean, both clubs, funnily enough, have had problems with their pitches. I was saying before, the only problem with totally enclosed pitches, I find that the wind doesn't come through, as it were. Whereas if you've got a bit of wind, it dries the pitches off. And yet when it's totally enclosed, sometimes you have problems with the drainage system.
Briefly, to go back to what Andy was saying there, if you were playing today and Alex Ferguson walked you up that tunnel and stood you in the middle, it'd be very hard to resist him, wouldn't it?
Never asked me, but you're right, it would be very hard to resist it.
OK, that's where we'll take a break. On Super Sunday today, from Old Trafford, it's Manchester United, champions last season, of course, against Aston Villa, who went stride for stride with them so long and ended up finishing in second place. Next, we'll have a look at how they've been doing this season. And I'll bet not a lot of people knew that. We're at Old Trafford, Manchester United against Aston Villa today on Super Sunday. The weather, we've got an An idea from Andy Gray, who was in the centre circle a short time back. Windy enough, at 20 to 25 miles an hour. Cloudy, clearing later as we head towards kick-off time. And not too cold either. Maximum temperatures around 10 degrees centigrade. OK, let's have a look at what Manchester United have been doing this season. United's season has been a triumphal march so far. They started with a win at Norwich.
It comes for Giggs. It nestles in the corner of the net.
3 days later, United beat Sheffield United 3-0. There were 2 goals here for Roy Keane and 1 for Mark Hughes. The Reds were where they finished last season, back on top. Next, it was the Premiership new boys, Newcastle.
Giggs. Oh! Fabulous goal by Ryan Giggs. Vasilio for Cole. And it's there this time.
The Toon Army held up the march just for a while. United slipped for the only time this season from the top spot. 2 weeks into the season, and next it was Villa in a classic.
Here is Sharp, one-on-one. Here's a chance for his second goal, and United second, and he's taken it. 2-1. And it's a glory night for young Lee Sharp.
In the run-in last season, Villa had got a draw. This time they were beaten. United went back to the top. They haven't moved from the top spot since the end of August. In mid-September, the Reds went to Chelsea and suffered their only defeat so far this season.
Chelsea lead.
September and October, United began to romp through the Premiership. There was a 3-2 win against Sheffield Wednesday. Mark Hughes scoring twice. United were rampant. Spurs went the same way as all the rest of them.
Oh, a mistake by David Howells and Lee Sharp. Could well have wrapped it up for Manchester United here.
Mid-October now, and United are pulling away. 7 points clear. At the end of October against Queen's Park Rangers, with United trailing, Eric Cantona turned the game. At home, United were looking unbeatable, but in the first week of November they crashed out of Europe. The disappointment showed when the team came home. 4 days later, it was the Manchester derby. United went 2 down in the first half and then stormed back.
Giggs, oh, it's a super ball, and Cantona is there where it matters. 2 for him, 2 for United. 2-2 is the score. Oh, that's Sharp, delightfully delivered. For Owen, it's Hughes! And coming in behind him was Roy Keane.
But yet again, Cantona had triggered the comeback. For the rest of November and into December, United's march continued, but 3 teams held them to a draw. One was Ipswich, another Norwich.
Giggs, up for Cantona, the player! It's 2! Now, Fox with the kick, and it's 2-2.
Early in December, 15 points clear, United were declared a racing certainty for the championship by the bookies. Last week, everyone except, of course, United fans were hoping that Newcastle could cut their lead.
Giggs into it and scores his first goal of the season. Beardsley. That's a fine ball. For Lee on the run. Can Cole get to this one? He does!
The Toon Army did everything they could, but still only came away with a point. United have stormed through the first half of the season. Alex Ferguson knows that if they keep on winning, the title is coming back to Old Trafford in record time. So, let's just check these facts. Played 20, won 15, drawn 4, lost to Chelsea, 49 points, scored 40, conceded 16. At home, played 10, won 7, drawn 3, unbeaten of course, 24 points, 21 goals, conceded 8. Leading scorers, 11 now for Cantona and Hughes, and 9 for Lee Sharp. Average gate approaching 44,000, 15 players booked, and the last 3 league games, drew with Norwich 2 apiece, beat Sheffield United 3-0 and drew with Newcastle 1 apiece. Sammy McIlroy, you're managing these days at Macclesfield. What are your problems like compared to Alex Ferguson?
Well, I mean, you're talking about the squad. I mean, I've got about 15, 16 players. Alex got about 20 odd, and he's keeping them all happy. I can't keep 16 happy. So I don't know how he's doing it. I might have to phone him up and give me a bit of advice. But I think he's doing it very well. Certain games he plays certain players, and they're all happy. Obviously, I mean, they're all on great wages and things like this. But,
and there's success now, of course, isn't there? During your time here, it was a frustrating period, wasn't it? Because you couldn't win that title. That was the prize that every Manchester United fan wanted. Now they've won it. Is it easier to keep on winning it again?
I think the hardest thing was to actually win it. And Ferguson's won it, and I think now actually to keep it, it's, you know, it's a big job, but he's halfway there for me now, and he's the man to do it.
And as I say, part of the reason that the players are happy, is that because of the success? Is that like Liverpool were, say, 5-6 years ago?
I think so. I think it's on the same par as Liverpool, maybe even better side. They're getting that way, and I think for the next 10 years, maybe more, United's going to do what Liverpool have done.
Are they going to win the title this year?
Oh, I think so.
Ominous, isn't it? OK, that's Manchester United. Let's have a look at Aston Villa then. Villa were unbeaten in their first 3 games this season, picking up 2 points with draws at Hillsborough and Selhurst Park and demolishing Queen's Park Rangers 4-1. But then came the champions.
Giggs enters, carried on with his run. Chance here for Manchester United, and still could be a goal. And it is for Lee Sharp. Villa now, Manchester United 1. Now here's Daly and Atkinson. Saunders has pulled away to the far post. Atkinson might go on his own. Is that crept in? Daly and Atkinson. Oh, here is Sharp. 1-on-1. Here's a chance for his second goal, and United second, and he's taken it. 2-1.
Lee Sharp destroying Villa and not surprisingly grabbing the headlines. The following week, Villa entertained Tottenham.
Parker. Well, Richardson's in the clear. Well, the ball's put in by Houghton, but I think the whistle's gone for the penalty.
Villa were unhappy not to have taken the lead there, but Steve Staunton made no mistake in the spot, giving them a 1-0 win. Still down in 10th place though. 2 wins at Everton and Ipswich and draws against Coventry and Oldham moved them up the table. Next it was Newcastle. The Geordies proved too hot to handle. Andy Cole adding to his impressive tally to give Newcastle a 2-0 win. Villa was 7th now, but were still unbeaten away from home when they made the trip to Highbury to face George Graham and the Gunners. Mark Bosnich was inspirational. A foul on Ian Wright led to a penalty, but he even saved that.
Keown to clip it forward first time. Wright took it well. Oh, that's simply fantastic.
Wright making amends for his miss, but Guy Whittingham equalised, and then in the last minute, Andy Townsend scored the winner. It was another great performance away from home. After another Whittingham goal against Sheffield United, Villa moved up to 2nd place. The next game was at Anfield, not the fortress it once was, but Graham Souness's side is still a force to be reckoned with.
Short corner for Liverpool. Fowler! This time it's in! Townsend. Going to Stratford here. Nickel, that's short. Atkinson could reach this. Daly and Atkinson, 1-1. Fowler, and it's Redknapp in the clear. Can this restore Liverpool's lead? 2-1, Jamie Redknapp.
Villa's defeat at Liverpool was their first away from home this season. They collected 2 more points against Queen's Park Rangers and Sheffield Wednesday, but were beaten at home by Wimbledon last week. They had Guy Whittingham's header disallowed, and it was Dean Holsworth who forced the late winner for the Dons. Ron Atkinson's side haven't been consistent enough this season. A win today would be the highlight of their campaign so far and help to pull United back to the pack. So Aston Villa then, played 20, won only 8, drawn 7, lost 5, 31 points, scored 23, conceded 20. Away from home, played 10, won 4, drawn 5, beaten only once at Liverpool, scored 13, conceded 10. Leading scorers, 10 for Daly and Atkinson, 6 for Dean Saunders, 4 for Kevin Richardson, 16 players booked, one more than Manchester United. Last 3 league games, drew with Queen's Park Rangers 2 apiece, drew with Wednesday by the same score, and lost at home to Wimbledon by 1-0. Just not consistent enough then, Peter, with why is that?
You said that.
Andy Gray said that to me.
Oh, did he? Yeah, and I think that, to be fair, they've won games really when they shouldn't have. There's games that they've won when they shouldn't have. I think that it stems really that he's used over 21 players, and he hasn't really got a settled side. And he's, for one thing that he's changed for me, is that Ron's always had 4-4-2. Wherever he's been successful, he's had 4-4-2 formations. And all of a sudden he's changed to 4-3-3. He's playing 3 strikers. And I don't think he can find the consistency. And I think that what he also lacks is that wide people.
He brought a number of players who had been the course before and won title medals that maybe were reaching the end of their careers in the top flight. Is there another rebuilding process to go on now at Villa?
I think the difference is at Villa, whereas Manchester United, although they've used 17 players, is that he's had the choice when he wants to change the team. Ron's changed his team when he's had to, and when he's trying to maybe accommodate sides that he's playing against. So where at Manchester United, he's just filled in players and has got a squad really of, I mean, he said 20, but I think it's more than 20 to be fair.
120, isn't it, really?
And he's got players who have, you know, can play in any position, and that really has been the big bonus for him, really, where Ron has had to sort of chop and change.
And 18 points adrift of Manchester United in the league. This realistically is a cup season, presumably.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing well in the other cup, so I mean, they would look at that and think that they're going to win that. And Ron, to be fair, has always been successful in cup competitions. It's eluded him the championship, but I think that he's come close on a number of occasions.
22 years Ron Atkinson has been a manager, and he's still dreaming about winning the title.
No doubt in big Ron Atkinson's fantasy league, Aston Villa would have the 10-point lead instead of Manchester United. But Villa at the moment are 18 off the pace, having taken just 2 points from their last 5 games. Latest setback coming against Wimbledon last weekend.
In actual fact, we've had our worst sequence of results in the last 5 games since I've been at the club. We've taken 2 points, and yet our performance level hasn't dipped that much. The daft thing is, the previous 5 games we took maximum points and we're playing awful. So perhaps we ought to get back to doing it that way. But no, it'll be a big lift for us. You know, if we don't perform there, we'll get trampled all over. We know that. But we've got players that will thrive on the big atmosphere.
And Villa have shown before they're as good as anyone on their day. So can they start to reduce the gap? And more importantly, will United slip up?
You never know. I mean, I wouldn't expect them to, I have to say that. But the game's about surprises. Everybody, what I don't want to see is everybody conceding the championship. Because, I mean, that takes the value out of it anyway. I think everybody's got to say. Certainly we'll be having a crack on Sunday to try and do something about it. Now, you know, if we're not good enough on the day, then we're not good enough. But we'll be having a right good go.
Last year's meeting at Old Trafford, of course, was a classic.
Now Staunton. It's a good try. It's a fantastic goal. A fabulous match here, and a goal worthy of the occasion from Steve Staunton for Aston Villa.
Staunton is injured this time, but could we yet have a repeat?
I'd be disappointed if it wasn't a smashing match, because they're playing hell of a well. We can play. Every game they've played. I mean, the 3 games last season were all good games. The game this year was a smashing game. The game that beat us, we didn't 2-1 at the start of the year, and I would fully expect Sunday's game to be equally as good.
You know, last year it was a game everybody wanted to see, and we were just pleased that that we were part of it. And this year, I'm sure that boss won't let us go there and not try and win the game. We'll go straight out and try and win the game, and there's no way we'll sit back and defend. I think that's not the way the manager likes his teams to play, and if we click on the day, we think we can win.
Saunders not as prolific as in recent seasons. That penalty against Wednesday, his only league goal since September. But one thing's for sure, Saunders and Villa will be psyched up for this one.
Well, I think it'll be a classic. I think we'll be, we're going up there to, to have a go. Somebody's got to dent them eventually, and let's hope it's us.
That's our football today. Manchester United against Aston Villa from Old Trafford. At 7 o'clock, we've Rugby League. Featherstone Rovers against Lee, and to tell us about that is Eddie Hemmings. Eddie.
Well, the Gales have hit Featherstone, Richard, but it won't blow away the enthusiasm in the big league tonight. It is Featherstone against Lee. Who should you watch out for? Just ask Steve-O.
The former Great Britain centre Carl Gibson is in outstanding form and is one of the game's most exciting runners. Possesses explosive speed and can create tries from virtually nothing. If you like your sport rough and tough, then go no further than John Pendlebury. This tough-as-teak forward never takes a backward step. Although noted for his crunch in defence, he still has the speed to make the break.
So watch out for those two tonight. The programme starts at 7 o'clock, and it wouldn't be Christmas, would it, without Wigan against St Helens. You can see that one on Sky on Boxing Day at 7.
Eddie, thank you. Old Trafford is the scene of our Premiership football today. Manchester United against Aston Villa. Plenty of people about outside, as you can see. Outside the stadium and wandering down Sir Matt Busby Way. And what about this for a team? It's not bad, is it? All shapes and sizes. Cantonars, Inces, Hughes. Giggs is there somewhere, yeah. And that, of course, is the city of Manchester, the home of the champions. And Manchester City, should mention that. But it's the champions we're with today at that magnificent stadium there in the foreground, Old Trafford. United against Villa. I can add to that question that Brian McClare used to clean Peter With's boots. Right, Old Trafford, that's our venue today. Manchester United against Aston Villa. 1 and 2, of course, last year in the old Premier League. Villa's first ever win at Manchester United 100 years ago. This month, Newton Heath 1, Aston Villa 3. It was played at Bank Street in Clayton. They've only won 10 since then, would you believe? So not the best of records here. The last was in November 1983. 2-1. Brian Robson scored for Manchester United. Peter With got 2 for Aston Villa. What do you remember about it, Peter?
Yeah, I remember the first one down at the Trafford end. It went through Brian Robson's legs. It just got a nick, and as Andy says, sometimes it's an own goal, but I claimed it. He scored at the other end, and then I remember running the length of the field, which is very unusual for me, with a Mr. McQueen chasing me, giving chase, and you made sure that you put it in the back of the net before he made a tackle on you.
It's a great feeling to score here, is it?
It is. I mean, it was one of sort
Tell
of...
him about it.
No. Oh, sorry, he hasn't scored, has he? Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that, Andy. It is. I mean, it's one of them stadiums that... all right. I'm just going on about it, too.
OK, let's have a look back now on yesterday's goals. Pride of place to Swindon, who won again yesterday. And the question, Andy, I suppose, is can they stay up?
Well, Peter's going to answer that. Can they, Peter?
I don't think they can, to be fair. And
even,
I think that
even the recent one they've had?
I just don't think they can. I think that, they've won a couple of games, but I think that both of them, to be fair, are going to struggle. Southampton as well, because they're not winning enough games. But
lovely goal this from Southampton. I mean, if we watch it through, some super build-up play. Lovely passing, and Matthew Letizia getting involved in the end of it. It really was a smashing move. But you know the lad, Sammy, don't you, that scores a winner for them, Keith Scott, from his non-league days at Wycombe.
That's right, Andy.
Are you surprised at his success? 4 goals in 7 games?
Not really, because even I spoke to Martin O'Neill about him last week, and he did well for Wycombe. Yeah. Big boy, and you've seen the headed goal there. He's always going to score.
Is that his strength?
Yes, set pieces. He's going to be one you got to watch. Definitely.
OK, next up, Leeds and Arsenal. Leeds coming into this one with just 1 defeat in 16 league games. We saw that, of course, Monday night, but they bounced back yesterday, Andy.
This was a big game for both these sides, and you just felt, Richard, I don't know, but you felt like whatever won it would be the nearest challengers to United. But what about the quality?
He's been fantastic at the minute, I think, McAllister. I mean, he's scoring some great goals.
The height of his form?
I would think so. He is, for me, the main reason why Leeds are having this great run.
I mean, he is. I mean, I think that. Sheer quality.
When they win the championship, it was Gordon Strachan for me being the main man. But I think now McAllister's.
I think he's taken that over with the responsibility of captaincy and things like that, Sammy.
He's responded magnificent to that, being captain.
Strangely enough, Ian Wright doesn't get the equaliser, but he certainly contributes to it with a good reactions from Kevin Campbell there.
Death header. I mean, staying in the box, being aware. I mean, the header was going way past the post, and he's just got a little touch on it.
Just instinctive, these sort of things, if you're a striker. Kevin Campbell sitting there, but I mean, that's a good goal, isn't it?
Well, the goalkeeper's ending up.
He got no chance to keep it really, because he's going the other way.
Gary McAllister was talking to Martin Tyler after the game, and he says, until Andy takes it off me on Sunday, I'm going to claim the second goal. Well, you're right, Gary. We've taken that one off you. I think the culprit there, and Tony knows it. I mean, it's a wickedly difficult cross to deal with.
It's a great ball in. Very curl on it, good pace. And I think Adams actually seen it late, didn't he? Because there was a load of people in the box, and he's seen it late.
Don't think there's any doubt that's an own goal.
Oh, it's an own goal.
All right, go on then, I'll accept that.
Sorry, Gary. But what I wanted to look at and show people at home, the first goal, a goal of sheer quality. And I mean, if we can just run it on now, because I think we know Arsenal, when they defend in situations like this, and we've seen them all the time, and the ball gets played across the area. Steve Hodges, I noticed, was back in the side. But when it comes out here, now if we could just stop it there, I mean, how often do you see Sammy, the back four, suddenly they're going this way? They're coming out, they're looking for McAllister just to be playing a ball back in, either there or through there, and they're ready to catch people like this. Brian Dean, offside, and to show his awareness to just flick it over here and then beautifully tuck it in the corner. I mean, skill, you just have to...
I think Mr. Wilkinson's done his homework, to be fair, and I think that he's set up. I would think that he's set one of them situations up in training.
I mean, you would imagine you look at that closely, Sam, and say...
I think, to be honest with you though, Peter, don't you think as a manager you would want your players attacking the ball there?
You would, but the way that Arsenal do it, Arsenal just, as soon as you check back on the ball, they all come out onto the edge of the box.
I mean, yeah, fair enough, but fair play to McAllister there. It was his awareness, as you say. Not many players, I think 9 out of 10 players would actually knock that ball back in there.
That's what they play for, Arsenal.
Yeah, and because McAllister, his awareness, and he did magic there for me, taking it round the boy and creating the goal.
We can admire it, we can admire it.
He's practiced.
Well, now Blackburn and Manchester City, who have got real problems, they came into this having won only 1 out of 11. Blackburn, 4 out of 5.
Big problems for Brian Horton, Peter, do you think?
Yeah, I think that they're not only on the field, off the field as well. I mean, people say that you're professional and it shouldn't affect you, and to a certain degree, yeah.
But isn't defending like this must crucify a manager when you see the centre-half do that there?
Wasn't going the ball.
Exactly.
All just to do is stand behind him. I mean, he's got his back to the goal, and he dives in and he commits himself, and the ball's in the back of the net.
I mean, needless to say that Alan Shearer gets his name on the score sheet, and he must be rivaling Andy Cole. I mean, we keep talking about Cole, but Shearer's contribution since he came back from injuries has been fantastic.
Well, it's his all-round ability, to be fair. I mean, it's not only his goal scoring, he leads the line very well. Very
good ball.
Good shot. It wasn't Kevin Gallagher, that was it?
It was, yeah.
He'll claim that as a pass. But his awareness in the box has been tremendous. He leads the line.
When it's going for you, though, you get goals like that. I mean, if the boy had connected that, Shearer wouldn't have scored.
We couldn't have wanted it to drop to someone better. But if we could just take a look at the first goal, Sammy, and just, I mean, little things like this that we try and pick out this Sunday are all to do with trying to teach young players who may be watching the rights and wrongs of defending and attacking and whatever. And if we take this free kick, we can actually stop it at what we were talking about. Yeah, if we play it in there, and we can always know, I mean, if we just hold it first and foremost, right there, I mean, that's the obvious area for Mike Newell to be wanting to come into, isn't it? For any ball played down the side. But the one thing, as you say, Sammy, you don't want your centre-back.
He's on the wrong side already, Andy.
Yeah.
He's on the wrong side of the player.
So what you're saying, he should be even, this side of him?
That's right. And if he does run wide, which he does, I mean, you know, the man that is Advunk, I think it is.
Yes, it is.
Well, he's right side. Right, he tries to nick the ball.
Can we hold it here now again? Now, what you're saying, Sammy, if he just stays there and just ushers him along here, then Mike Newell can't go anywhere.
He's going nowhere.
He can't go anywhere. But the one thing you don't want is to try and be nicking it here.
He's favoured for the ball, Andy, is Newell at the minute. He's favoured for the ball, and Vunk actually tries to win the ball on the wrong side for me. And that, you know, there you go, he dives in there. Newell's clear. Gets his head up. Gets his head up. Look at that for the ball. Thank you.
Good striker, Pete, you're right. But if you were the Manchester City manager, you wouldn't have been happy with your centre-half's contribution there.
You wouldn't, but it's talking and communication sometimes that they just say. To be fair, if you just look before the incident, you see that Mike Newell does what we say about strikers, they're pushing on, and that's how he ends up getting him the wrong side of him.
Tell you something else, Andy, nothing's going for City. They obviously went with the wrong kit because Blackburn were in their change strip there, weren't they? I've just noticed that.
That's true, their weak kit.
Blackburn who changed.
Good spot, Richard.
Yeah, well, I do something every now and again. now two of the strugglers, Coventry and Oldham at Highfield Road.
I actually fancied Coventry. Phil Neal's got them going a little bit since he took over and seems to be doing a good job, Peter, getting them to pass the ball about, play a lot more football. Well,
he's brought Brownie back, hasn't he? They were together at Bolton, so he brought him, and Brownie's a bit of a bubbly character, and he would like to, you know, he gets them playing. And
good finish from regularly there, wasn't it?
Good skills once he's in the box. Great skills.
First goal in 4 months from regularly.
No. There's a shot.
But this was the big decision now. They're 1-0 up. They go through. Peter Indlove there, and I'm afraid the flag's up for offside. And it's one of those we're going to have a look at in a minute. But the goalkeeper, they won't be too happy with Big Augie's attempt there.
Oh, I completely missed it, didn't he? I mean, goalkeeper comes there, commits himself to actually get the ball.
Do you know, I just noticed as well this time, are you a manager though? I noticed that again there. There's a guy at the back post, he's headed the ball down, and if Coventry have got someone on the back post, he clears it off the line. Now, do you always have two on your post?
Andy, I'm having nightmares at set pieces at the minute after my team, seriously. We conceded a goal yesterday from exactly something like that. Ball came over, we had two people on the post, and a geezer had a free header. That's it, you know, rifles me. You've got to pick men up in the box. And man,
do you
Mark,
sacrifice a post then to go and pick men up?
I think so.
You have to.
Yeah, I mean, you know, men are going to score, so you mark them.
It never ceases to amaze me as we've gone on last season, this season, how many cheap goals. Yeah, cheap goals you see scored at corners these days.
Always. Because I think I listened to you before, Peter, about set pieces on your show in the boat room. I mean, people practice all day long nice set pieces because teams play, actually. They get corner kicks, free kicks, whip them in and score goals.
Well, Richard was in tears last week when his team were denied a clear penalty at Upton Park against West Ham to deny them points, and I think they may have a case yesterday, Richard.
Luck is out right now, isn't it?
Well, things aren't going with them. If we can just wind this on, it's the Peter Indlove goal. Was it goal, was it not a goal? And we always say, first and foremost, we know that linesman jobs are difficult, but just in there, hold it there, just take it back. Can we take it back to the point of contact? Right, hold it there. Right, run it on slowly. Just the point of contact. There. Now, to me, I mean, if you take, I'm not sure of the angle of the kick. Hold on a minute. I'll get this right in a minute. If you take a line there, that looks pretty straight to me.
Not bad.
That looks pretty straight. I think Coventry maybe. Anyway. But I mean, looking at the pictures, Peter, are Coventry a little bit hard done by there?
I think they are, to be fair. I mean, I'm always of the opinion that if goals are scored and it's split, I mean, referees and linesmen always give it to the defenders. I think you want to see goals.
Why don't we just favour? We want to see things like this. Wouldn't we have rather seen a goal there? I mean, Oldham might not agree with this, but wouldn't we rather we're looking at a goal than an offside decision that's dubious?
I would.
Who wants to be an official?
Well, exactly. They have got a tough job, we have to say that.
Wimbledon and Sheffield United now. Wimbledon, who are in form at the moment, aren't they?
They certainly are. I mean, I did a thing in the boot room on Thursday, Richard, about how few goals are scored direct from free kicks. And Warren Barton gets with a wicked deflection.
Big practice thing.
Yeah, I'm not having that. I'm not having that. But this, I mean, two teams, Ari Bassett and Joe Kinnear, who know each other very well.
Yeah.
But you would always have fancied Wimbledon.
You do, really, to be fair. I mean, I watched them in midweek when they played it last week against Villa. And again, it was from set plays, and they do a lot on the set plays. What they do, basically, is they try and get enough bodies around the ball for any knockdowns at any loose balls, and that's where they get a lot of the goals from.
Basic but effective. Would that sum up Wimbledon?
It is, yeah, it is basic but effective. You're right, because they utilise whatever they've got.
Play to their strengths, don't they?
They do. They play to the strengths, and they've always done that. So Peter Witt was there.
I was just going to say, it'd be a foolish man who went there and tried to change things.
Oh, yes, it would be.
No, that's all.
Right, more goals in a moment or so, but Aston Villa are here at Old Trafford. The opponents today, of course, runners-up last season. Manchester United, title winners. Dean Saunders there, who's not been scoring goals too regularly of late. Ray Houghton having a close look round. Dalian Atkinson, who scored at Liverpool when we last saw them live. Turnstiles are open here as well. There's a fair number in already. It'll be sold out again today. I left home at 6:30 this morning, coming up the motorways, and there was United punters all over the place. What a draw they are. More goals in a moment or so. A Super Sunday from Old Trafford. It's Manchester United against Aston Villa. And the head-to-head is interesting. 121 meetings down the years. United have won 52, Villa 41, 28 draws. That's even enough. But wait until you see what's happened here at Old Trafford. 60 games played, 37 wins for Manchester United, only 10 for Villa. The last one, as we heard from Peter Weir, back in 1983, and 13 draws. Sammy McElroy and Peter with Andy Gray today looking back on yesterday's goals. And next up, Andy, it's off to White Hart Lane. 6 yesterday between Spurs and Liverpool.
I honestly wasn't surprised there was goals here yesterday, Richard. I think the way that Liverpool are playing, that they're always looking to score goals, but to me they're always likely to concede them. And you know, I don't know what Graham's going to do to stop that. But I mean, that's a big lump up the pitch, a run from a midfield player, and you see straight through that. Can't be right.
No, I mean, they haven't tracked runners or anything. I mean, you just look there, full-backs just a bit wider, but I mean, midfield players, you've got to slaughter them, to be fair.
What about this Robbie Fowler, who's been playing up there, Sammy?
Tremendous prospect.
Is he impressed you this season?
Oh, without a doubt, Andy. He is one of the best I've seen come on. Young
That
lad.
good?
I think so. He's come into your side, and to be fair, Liverpool haven't been, you know, consistent, whatever. They haven't been like the great Liverpool sides. And
What about that?
I mean, that's tremendous skill. Cool head. Great finish.
Good strike.
I mean, man, is that only 15 goals?
I don't know exactly, Sammy, but he's certainly well into double figures.
I mean, for a young boy to come into a side, it hasn't been really firing on all cylinders. He's done tremendous here. I mean, that's great skill. I mean, that's like Ian Rush of old, isn't it?
I was just going to say, had we not known who it was, you would certainly attach that kind of skill to
Without
Rush.
a doubt, without a doubt.
Great ball from Nigel Clough, who'd come on. I mean, fortunately for Liverpool, more trouble with John Barnes. Hobbled off injured yet again.
But I think the boy fella, he knew with the pace of the ball, he knew what to do. A little dummy. And committed the defender, took it in the stride and finished great.
I watched him in the tournament in the summers, and he was scoring goals then, and it was a bit of a revelation.
Is this a goalkeeping error, Peter, this that we're about to see? It's I think it's Jamie Redknapp, is it, that takes the free kick? But should he be saving this? Is he unlucky? We'll have a look at it here.
I think, to be fair, I think he slipped as well. But you're right, I think he's across there, he's got his hands to it, and I think he'd be a bit disappointed. I mean, you've got to push it past. I mean, he pushes it onto the post, it comes off the post and hits him and then goes in the back of the net.
So is it an error? Is it unlucky? Watch this, watch the wall, just thinking, the middle of the wall, somebody ducks out it. I mean, that's incredible, that.
It is.
I think it's Vinny, I'm not sure, but I mean, I think it was Vinny Samuels, but you wouldn't be too happy seeing that.
No, the goalkeeper wouldn't be too happy with
Stand
that.
tall.
No.
Terrible one.
Penalty or not? Lovely ball from McManaman. The spot rush, but
Penalty.
Took his leg.
yeah,
Took his ankle. Just clipped him, without a doubt.
well, just then, but I doesn't think so.
No, I think it was a penalty, to be fair. I mean, he's drawn his foot back just to have a strike here.
Good vision though, isn't it? I mean, so many players would be tempted to have a shot at goal there, and he picks Rush out very well.
Definitely. I mean, the boy was going to like shoot, and he did. He nipped him.
Confidence of the kid.
I mean, this is what I mean. No problem.
He's taken over from Mr. Rush,
yeah.
I think that's a young player of the year already.
Well. He's certainly been there, but just a little bit later, Jamie Redknapp back tackling.
It's not like the referee there to make it up, is it?
Even it up. But yeah, I think we can see from this angle. I mean, he catches him, doesn't he?
Yeah,
to be fair, he doesn't. I mean, look at how many Liverpool defenders are there, and he doesn't even have to tackle
He
them.
doesn't have to tackle him at all.
That one, equally composed, Mickey Hazard.
Yeah. He's done well since he come back to Spurs, hasn't he? Hazard, I think.
Very well.
Put on a bit of weight, though, hasn't he?
But is this a penalty?
Yes. See that again.
We're going to see it again. You're very... There you are. Have a look at that, Pete. Have a look, Sammy. He's committed to the tackle. Edinburgh is over.
Well, the boy, Edinburgh touched the ball first, didn't he?
Oh, yes.
And,
There's no contact with the ball from the Liverpool defence.
I think
That's as far as I'm concerned. If you don't touch the ball, it's a penalty.
I think referee there would have given that.
A bit like Coventry last week, Richard, would you say?
Was the mark in there?
They kept at it, though, to be fair to Tottenham. And
Ball in.
It's a super ball. We often talk about the
ball.
value of crosses, Peter, and that's a great ball.
To be fair, that's what happens sometimes. I mean, you go in as a striker and you're attacking the ball, and then all of a sudden someone pulls the ball behind you. I mean, there's times that there's someone free and you've got vision and you pull it back to them and they have a shot to target. But the amount of times that we see that people get into them positions and pull the ball behind the strikers, and that one was inviting you to go and dive in and head it.
Well, I wanted to look at 2 goals that Liverpool have conceded, because I do think it's a problem they've got, creating chances, scoring goals, but when you concede goals like this, I mean, we're looking at the first one, and you talked about it, Peter, but and just when it gets, can we just hold it about there? Now, I mean, whose responsibility is this guy?
That's a midfield player.
Definitely.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, Peter said it before. He is running. Look how deep he's running from, and a midfield man.
I mean, he's run from there.
Yeah.
I mean, is it a case of this lad's been attracted, to the ball?
Well, I think is that Redknapp? He's gone to the other boy.
Redknapp's gone over.
Right. So I think if he's a midfield player, he should be pushing in there.
Is it? I don't suppose there's
Matteo,
any reason he should be tucked in a little bit.
There should be a little bit, but I don't think.
But
to be
there's
fair,
no blame. I mean, what we're saying is that is a responsibility. A run from there through the middle of your defence. In today's football, he should be tracked by a midfield.
It's not only that he should be tracked, to be fair. I mean, there's going to be times that you're going to lose your midfield player. But the worst thing in the world that you've got to do is try a bit of communication and shout to defenders that if you've lost him. But he's ended up just running straight through the middle.
And the third goal, and I wanted to have a look at it again, the quality of the cross, I think, is there for all to see, Peter. But again, the marking, if I was Graham Souness, I mean, you'd be pulling your hair out. You really would at the marking, because they've got plenty of red shirts back in. Once it goes on, we'll show it. And you're right, the quality of the cross is inviting. But I mean, when it comes wide there, just as before, hold it there. Now, I mean, you look at the red shirts that are there, they've missed the one near post there. Oh, a bit wobbly in the old illustrator there, sorry about that. But I'm just concerned that the centre half there, Mark Wright,
He should be closer.
He's got to be closer,
I think he should be closer, definitely.
I mean, a man of his experience, he's got to be in a position to get in a challenge there.
Arm's length at least, It's Peter said, it's a great ball in. It is a great ball in, but I think Wright should be a little bit closer to the boy headed it.
And I think until they tighten up like that, they're going to. They seem to me as if they're going to concede goals.
A lot of speculation on Merseyside this week about Graham Souness's job, Andy. Is he going to see the job through, in your opinion? He says that's the case.
Well, anything Graham says, I mean, I wouldn't argue against, because I know what a strong character he really is. But he'll only be given as much time as the patience of the Liverpool board stands. I mean, if the chairman loses patience with Graham, he may find that he doesn't get the chance to see the job through to what he would want to do. But at the moment, he seems to have the total backing of the chairman, and if he's got that, then he'll be Liverpool manager.
OK, Sheffield Wednesday and West Ham now. We saw Sheffield Wednesday beaten on Super Sunday a week ago. That was their first defeat in 15. What about this for a recovery?
Did you expect a tighter game, Sammy, than 5-0?
I couldn't believe the result, actually, when I seen it. I know Sheffield Wednesday's turned it around a little bit and playing well, but West Ham have been playing terrific football.
One goal?
Yeah, again.
Look at this, though. I mean, how this boy can't play for England, I don't know.
You'd still pick him now?
Without a doubt.
There's 2 people, funnily enough, from Newcastle. That's it, Waddle and Beasley, to be fair.
They should be in
both
the
of
side.
them.
I mean, his contribution in this game is really there for all to see. He's involved in the first 2 goals. This is the beauty of Chris Vermeer. He can wander in field like that. And then he causes problems. And I think Ludo McCloskey, one of his poorest games I've seen for West Ham.
He should have had that one.
Can't be beaten on the near post.
But again, Waddle, 3 down.
Yeah.
He's involved again.
I think there'll be a few people who's kicking themselves when they had the opportunity to sign him, and no credit to Trevor Francis.
But this isn't a one-off, is it? I mean, what we're seeing here is something that Chris does time and time again.
He's got that trick on me.
Yeah.
And everyone knows what he's going to do, but nobody can stop him.
Why is that?
Oh, I tell you.
Just skill.
It is. And do you see how he looked up in the box as well? And what a lovely look. It was a 5-a-side goal, that, wasn't it?
Delighted to see Carlton Palmer again getting involved, because I think this is something that he's got to bring into his game as a midfield player. He's scoring goals. He does everything else for me. Gets forward, tackles back. The one thing that he lacks probably is goals. But I wanted to have a word with you two, both on the coaching side of the game, and look at Chris Waddle and look at the first goal. And I always think, if you were playing against Chris Waddle, Sammy, and he was getting the ball wide, would you not want, can we just hold it there, would you not want your full-back to have somebody just...
I'd have about 4 covering on
But even one, Sam.
No, exactly one.
You know, what the word is, double banking, Peter, that they use in the game. You know, they need somebody, surely, to be saying to David Burrows, send him this way, send him that way.
That's right.
I'm tucked here. If he gets a yard on you, I can get a tackle in there.
Yeah.
But just, I mean, watch the way he's just left exposed, Burrows. I mean, he does show him an awful lot there.
He does, actually.
To be fair,
he shows him the line. and they showed Chris Waddle that much room, and it's cost him.
The problem is that he's shown him that side thinking, well, he hasn't got a right foot anyway.
But then, I mean, you would think they would learn from that. That's early in the game.
Well,
and if we have a look at I think the 4th goal in the match, here it is again. We can run that on. Now if we can just hold it there, I mean, look, that surely Waddle must be looking at that situation, thinking, "Let me at him."
I mean, how can you leave Waddle one-on-one?
But then when they come in, Sam, I think Ian Bishop comes over here. He just comes into the screen. He's still there now. Can we hold it again there?
Wrong side again.
I mean,
he's doing nothing.
He's doing nothing there.
He's doing nothing.
You know, is it a case of when you double back, you have to get yourself behind it, the man in front, so that you can tell him, should he be dictating the man behind, send Chris Waddle left or right, send him down the line or send him inside.
That's what Peter said before, communication.
You've got to talk.
I mean, Bishop hasn't said a word there, has he?
But the thing, if they get square, is he's right in between them.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, the way he finishes up is tremendous. But as what Peter said, no communication at all.
And that's all it's down to.
That's all it's down to.
Getting the right side.
Yeah.
Now the East Anglian derby, and what a sting in the tail there was here.
I mean, I actually fancied this to finish stalemate. You usually find that with derbies, Richard, but it wasn't to be. And there's another penalty involved. Kiwamia's pace has Butterworth in trouble. And I don't think any of us will argue with that. We'll get to penalty.
I mean, he's done great, to be fair. I mean, he knows where he's going to put it. He's going to put it across him. So he's got one thing. He's got to bring him down, or he's going to go through and score.
Yeah, cut that in it.
Why isn't he sent off?
I think, to be fair, the inconsistency sometimes of the referees. Like, I mean, we looked at one where the player was sent off. Ferdinand was sent off, and then the following week you see something else, and the player doesn't get sent off. So
I think you've said it there, the inconsistency in it with referees.
But I mean, there would have been a case surely there for Ian Butterworth to have had the red card.
Yeah, but I've always thought that, I mean, to give the penalty is enough. If it's outside the box,
I'm with you.
If it's outside the box.
What I'm saying is, Peter, there'll be a lot of people at home saying, "Oh, I've watched games this season where we've lost players,
and I've been sent off for less."
And players will be at home saying, "I was sent off for less than that."
Yeah, true.
You know, and I agree with you. I don't like the idea of players being sent off because I think it devalues the game. But they get back in it, and there's this
good strike here.
It was a good strike. Mark Bowen. That's it really well. But they were to lose a player. I think this is at Lee Power. I mean, I've looked at this a couple of times, and the referee, you can see Mike Reid following the play there right on the screen. He didn't see it. The linesman is the one who spotted it. But is it a sending off?
No, it's. I mean, the ball's there. He's trying to. It's a bit innocuous. I mean, he's made a challenge on it.
If you'd have been playing these days, you'd have been sent off every week for things like that.
Me?
Yeah.
Actually, I did get sent off at Ipswich, and he got the wrong stuff. He got the wrong fella.
But it's not cynical, physical contact.
I suppose his leg was a little bit high, but it's not. I don't even think he made contact, did he?
No. I think the lad had done not come on.
I mean, I'm not sure, to be fair, whether that was a second booking, in all honesty, or whether that
he just come on the Broy.
Power is a sub, straight off again.
Yeah.
I think Eddie Youds here, I think he almost thinks he's won the game from him with that one. But Gary Megson, that's a real sting in the tail. What about this for a header, Pete?
That's a great header. I'd be pleased with that one. He's not a good friend.
Look at them congratulating the Ipswich players there.
I'm sorry to say, you're not having that goal.
Oh, yes.
Little nudge, what do you think?
Oh.
You got a little nudge?
Just enough, wasn't it?
Yeah, just enough.
A little nudge was enough.
He's unlucky there.
Well, now Everton, who are still without a manager, of course, and Newcastle, who took Peter Beardsley back to Goodison yesterday.
This must have been horrendous for Everton fans to watch, Richard, the contribution of the little number 8 there. I mean, look at that.
Vision tremendous.
Goalkeeper, Sammy?
Yeah, definitely, near post. That's the question, the goalkeeper.
Of Neville's quality?
Yeah, definitely.
To be fair, there's been a few goals. There's been a few goals that Neville's sort of had.
What about this, Mike Uber?
This is a great shot. Get in. Don't panic. Don't panic.
Our goalkeeper scored from at Merthyr yesterday from the exact same thing. One punching in.
Did he love it?
He did love a banner.
How do you cope with him in this situation, Sammy? A man of his
This is where Beardsley, I think, I mean, that's true. How many times do you see him do this? Beardsley running at defenders, I mean, it'll frighten the manager to death because he's very, very hard to stop. He's got great control, great vision. And that's a tremendous goal. I mean, he turns his boy inside out, doesn't he?
I mean, he's had 2 dummies to shot.
Yeah.
To his shot, and then he
knew what he was doing, Andy, didn't he? He knew exactly what he was doing.
Every time.
And into defensives, I mean, it's come through legs there as well, and Neville's probably seen it just a little bit late, so wouldn't like to criticise him too much.
No, I wouldn't. He's bigger than me as well, so I'm certainly not going to criticise him at all. But I wanted to have a look at the first goal because we talked about Beardsley and Cole, and I think the combination's been wonderful in respect that when this goes up into the air like this, now, if we can just slow it down a minute and just stop it there. The thing about it is, I mean, to have Beardsley, the architect in this situation, and Cole, I mean, in this situation, Pete, as a front runner, how big is the importance of a diagonal run onto a straight pass? I mean, if Cole just runs straight, for instance, there's a chance A, he'll be offside, and it's a more difficult ball for Beardsley to pick out. But if we run it on very slowly and watch Cole's run, does he make Beardsley's mind up there?
I mean, he plays it
slotted that in there.
Yeah, plays it into the space for them, and that's sometimes, again, what we talk about is that people try to pick out players instead of picking out space.
Is that natural for those two? Do you think?
I actually think it's natural for Beardsley.
Yes.
I think Beardsley knew exactly what he was going to do. When that ball was coming down, before it actually came to him, he knew where he was putting the ball.
Cole's natural instinct was to run forward.
And Cole knew exactly what Beardsley was going to do.
And that's what he done.
Got a great partnership.
That's what he done with Mr. Lineker, to be fair. I mean, Lineker made the runs and he supplied the passes. And again, we're looking at, you know, international scene to a certain degree. Waddle, Beardsley. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to win a game.
Would you have them in?
I'd have them both in. I'd have them both in because you've got to win a game. And people say about building squads and doing this and doing that. At the end of the day, you're not in the World Cup because you haven't made the right decisions.
Sammy thought that Robbie Fowler would be in contention for the Young Player of the Year, and you thought that Peter Beardsley's more or less won the Player of the Year.
Well, I mean, it's
already.
I mean, I'm a Beardsley fan. I think he's tremendous, and his contribution to Newcastle's been different class.
I think we'll agree with that.
I think are you trying to sign up for Mac? What was the board? All right, got it.
Let's have a look at the FA Carling Premiership after yesterday's action. No change in the bottom three. It's still Swindon, despite that win over Southampton, but they're level on points with them now. And Chelsea making up that bottom three. Sheffield United, Oldham and Manchester City make up the bottom six. Then come Coventry, Everton, 15th. Tottenham down to 14th. Sheffield Wednesday climbing now, and Wimbledon. Exactly halfway, the Happy Hammers. Then it's Ipswich, unbeaten in 6. Villa, who play at Old Trafford here today. Queen's Park Rangers, Liverpool, Norwich, Arsenal, Newcastle back up to 4th after that win at Goodison yesterday. Blackburn Rovers, Leeds United, and 10 points clear, Manchester United. The Sky Sports form guide, last 6 league games taken into account here. Villa not doing so well, won only 1 of their last 6, drawn 2, and beaten in 3. Chelsea rock bottom. Then comes Southampton and Manchester City. The top is getting interesting these days. Top 6, Ipswich, Manchester United 5, won 3 and drawn 3. Leeds, Newcastle, Sheffield Wednesday and Blackburn Rovers top of the pile. Attendances are up. We're through the 5 million barrier. Last year at this time, you can see just over 4.5 million, so we're up by 500,000, and we're heading for the 10 million mark for the first time since the 81-82 season, which I think speaks volumes about our game today. The best league in the world, no doubt about that. Let's go and get the team news with Nick Collins.
Well, Manchester United keep the same squad of 14 that they took to Newcastle last weekend, but they've made 2 changes to the starting lineup. In comes Roy Keane and Andrei Kanchelskis. Out goes Brian McClare and Ryan Giggs. They'll both, of course, be on the bench. Otherwise, of course, United will have their usual lineup. Villa, well, they make 3 changes from the side that lost 1-0 at home to Wimbledon last weekend. Back for them comes skipper Kevin Richardson in midfield, and Gordon Cowans goes to substitute. Ray Houghton has been dropped. We've got Guy Whittingham in the side. Now, that's quite interesting because it means Dalian Atkinson, Dean Saunders and Guy Whittingham all playing for Villa, so a fairly attacking combination on paper. Also into the side, Brian Small in defence. He played in this fixture last year and indeed has played in this fixture for a couple of years now. Just a quick indication, Richard, of the determination in this Villa side. One of the first players out onto the pitch when the Villa coach arrived was Mark Bosnich. He, remember, had a brilliant game, didn't he, last season here at Old Trafford? Well, he went straight onto the pitch to check the conditions in both goal mouths. He says he doesn't want to leave anything to chance. Richard.
Nick, thank you. So, the names and the numbers says a lot about Manchester United, doesn't it? Ryan Giggs on the bench again. It's Schmeichel, Parker, Bruce Pallister, Irwin, Kanchelskis, Keane, Ince, Sharp, Hughes and Cantona. McClare, Giggs and Seeley on the bench. Villa, Bosnich, Cox, McGrath, Teal, Small, Richardson, Barrett, Parker, Saunders, Atkinson and Whittingham. On the bench, Daly, Cowans and Spink, around about 20 to 4. Andy will be telling us how they'll line up. But Dean Saunders there, Peter, what's happened to his season? He's only scored, 1 goal in his last 10 matches. That was from the penalty spot. This time last year, he was averaging 1 every 2 games. What's gone wrong for Saunders?
I think he's been a bit unlucky, to be fair, in some of the games that he's played. In some of the games that I've watched, I mean, he's had great chances and they haven't been going in the back of the net. And he's choosing sometimes the wrong technique at times. I mean, he's hitting it hard when he should be maybe chipping the keeper or whatever the case may be. And you go through spells like that you don't score goals. And what you've got to do, you just got to keep working and working and working. And you're right, the last season, everything goes right for you, and it doesn't matter what you do, it'll go in the back of the net. This season, it doesn't matter what he does, it doesn't go in the back of the net for him.
Is he running into areas this year with a mind to making goals for people instead of, as he was last season, into goal-scoring positions?
It's a bit of a pet hate with me, with him, to be fair, because he comes out, what I talk about strikers is that stay into the danger areas, and what he's doing is he's running wide in very wide positions, and he's the ending up the one who's crossing the ball. I mean, who's he going to cross the ball for? He's got to find other people to cross the ball. But in his defence, to be fair, that what I've said about Aston Villa is they're lacking a bit of width, and not giving a punt to my own name really, but they don't get wide people, and they haven't been getting balls into the box. So that's what I'd say in his defence really.
Kanchelskis and Sharp, the wide men for Manchester United today, Sammy, so no place for Ryan Giggs. I noticed there was some debate in the national newspapers today about Giggs and Sharp, which one's better on the left. They both prefer to play there. I mean, what a problem for Alex Ferguson, eh?
That's terrific, isn't it?
Not bad, is it?
Terrific, isn't it? I mean, Giggs, I think, is a marvellous player. But Ferguson's like, you know, he's left him out a few times lately, hasn't he?
So Kanchelskis gets the nod today?
Well, I like Kanchelskis as well, because he's direct, he gets the ball and he runs straight at defenders. What I used to think about him was his final ball at times could be a little bit better, but I think he's improved that. I mean, when he runs at you, I mean, if he knocks a ball by you, not many fullbacks are going to stop him. You just seen there the cross in. I mean, you know, you pick out a red shirt, and I think he's doing that more this season.
His final ball often these days is a goal, isn't it? He has got an eye for goal.
Well, that's right. I mean, you know, it's a great through ball there from Keane. Get him running, no one's going to stop him.
Brian Robson was with us.
Yeah, that's a type of ball. I mean, you love this here for wingers and with pacey wingers, and he has got plenty of pace. Direct, straight for the box. Great goal.
Maybe the answer is to play Giggs down the middle, like Brian Robson.
Well, he can do that.
Then you've got 3 up there.
That's right. I mean, he's handy down there, Giggs. He can play anywhere across the front line.
OK, another break. We're at Old Trafford today to see Manchester United play Aston Villa. A bit blowy outside, as you can see, but not in the bowl, inside, as Andy was showing us right at the top of the programme. Plenty of activity outside, as you'd expect, at the best supported club in the land. 1 or 2 from Villa in. Not too many, mind. Not easy to get seats here these days if you're travelling support. That's because Manchester United have got so many of their own fans. Simple as that. Where did we see that last? Santa Claus. Oh, it was an Uneaten fan, that's right. A United fan today. We'll take another break. As I said, when we come back, we'll have a closer look at Alex Ferguson. Welcome back. Peter With was telling me Didier Cease made his debut for Villa against Manchester United in a defeat. Busy outside. That is Sir Matt Busby Way, I think we're looking at there. Front end of Old Trafford, which I'm sure plenty of you know very well. United and Villa today on Super Sunday. 1-2 last season. United, of course, finished as champions. The odds on the first to score today, 6-1 Cantona, 7-1 Mark Hughes, 8-1 Atkinson and Saunders of Aston Villa, and Guy Whittingham. All 3 play today. And when we rejoin Andy Gray around about 20-4, he'll be telling us how he expects Aston Villa to play. Big day for United behind the scenes here. They're extending their shirt sponsorship deal with Sharp through until the back end of 1998. It'll run 16 years by that time. A lot of activity in the press room. That's where we find Nick Collins, who's speaking with Martin Edwards, I think. Nick.
Richard, thanks very much indeed. Martin, first of all, can I ask you, how important is this new deal for Manchester United?
Well, I think sponsorship is very important. I mean, it's the lifeblood of some clubs. I wouldn't say it was our lifeblood, but obviously it's very important to us. It puts money in the kitty, which enables us to either spend money on new players or improve the stadium even further.
it's absolutely up to you, is it, how the money is spent?
Yes, we don't allocate it specifically to any one cause. It's really just a question of getting the balance right between improving the stadium and improving the team.
Now, I know there are no figures being bandied about, but can you give us a rough estimation of the money that we're talking about for this new deal?
I can't really. I mean, as far as I know, it's as big as anything in club sponsorship in football at the moment. But obviously, Sharp and ourselves have never divulged the sponsorship figure.
And finally, Martin, how pleased are you that you've managed to extend this association with Sharp to, what, 16 years is it now?
This will be 16 years. We're on 12 years at the moment. This will take it to 16 years. I think there's only JVC that has a longer association with any football club, which I think is good for both. It shows that Sharp have got confidence in Manchester United, and we're very happy to be renewing with Sharp.
Well, Martin, thanks for joining us. I'll let you go, because I know you're going to actually sign the new contract in a few minutes. If you come back then, Richard.
We'll do that. I remember speaking to Martin Edwards on the Footballers Football Show about 18 months ago, and he said, let's get that title won. Everything fits into place after that, and it has done, hasn't it? Let's hear what they're saying about this game today, outside the stadium.
Reds will win 3-1 today. Mark Hughes, Eric and Sparky scoring the goals. I can see the battle in midfield today, and I think the Reds are too good.
It'll be hard for the first 20 minutes till United break them down, and then I think it'll be easy going again.
Well, we've been playing well so far. I think we're going to go out there today, play our best, and I think it's going to be 2-0 to us, Paul Ince and Lee Sharp.
I think we've got the upper hand of them now. We've won at Villa this season, another classic game there. But I think sort of Big Ron's in for a bit of a shock here today. 3-1 to United.
3-1 to United, Hughes, Candona and Sharp, easy.
It's going to be a tight game. I think United was just about perfect. 2-1.
And Big Ron, watch out.
Villa are good defensively, they're good on the break. If they get a draw, they'll be doing very well. I can see a lot of difficulty beating Man U at the moment.
I think they'll give a good show of themselves, actually. We've started playing football from the Liverpool game. It seems strange, really, because we haven't been getting the results, and yet we started playing well, which is, you know, we've been going out and robbing other sides, like early in the season, but we're starting to play football again now, yeah. We've got a fair chance today, I think.
Villa always rise to games like this. Villa are bound to play well. It's against teams like Wimbledon, Sheffield United, Southampton. We struggle against those, but against the top clubs we're equal. So very optimistic today. I've got money on it, so up the Villa.
Well, now to the man who brought the title here for the first time in 26 years. That's Alex Ferguson, who was named this week by World Soccer magazine as the best manager in the world, which I suppose is the ultimate praise, but he's playing it all down.
It's nice, but at the end of the day, I think it's important to try and keep your feet on the ground. And I think we try to do that here for everyone, and that includes the manager.
nice, wasn't it? Alex Ferguson, the best manager in the world, and you'll get no complaints about that around here. Let's go and see that sponsorship deal signed now. Ken Merritt, the Secretary of Manchester United, is at the centre of proceedings.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your attendance here this afternoon at this most important press and media conference. Can I first introduce the gentleman at the top here? On my left, of course, is Martin Edwards, Chairman of Manchester United Football Club. Beyond him, Mr. McCooney, who's the Chairman and Managing Director of Sharp Electronics UK. And beyond him, Mr. Brian Wright, Corporate Director of Sharp Electronics UK. In a moment, Mr. McCooney and Mr. Edwards will be signing a new sponsorship agreement. So I will call upon Mr. Edwards to formally announce this contract.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very pleased to announce on behalf of Manchester United and Sharp Electronics that we have today, or we're about to sign, a new 4-year agreement. That will take the agreement with Sharps till 1998, and it will be a 16-year relationship that we've enjoyed with Sharp. I think it shows great confidence on behalf of both companies, the fact that Sharp are prepared to extend another 4-year contract with us, which takes it to 16 years, and we're delighted to be associated with them. We believe that they're one of the biggest leading manufacturing companies in the world, and we're very, very happy with that.
That's Martin Edwards, of course, the Chairman and Chief Executive of Manchester United. Very pleased today, and Sharp renewing a contract that, as we've heard, will run 16 years by its conclusion. And that, Peter, really is what it's all about, isn't it? When Martin Edwards was saying, let's get it won and everything else fits into place, that's part of what he meant, wasn't it?
It is. It's amazing, really, that you look back over the years about Michael Knighton and what he wanted to sell the club for now. I mean, look at what the club's worth now. I mean, you're talking about them sort of deals. But it's the rich are getting richer to a certain degree, and they are keeping the smaller clubs going as well, because they're buying players from them and one thing and another.
There's the pen on the paper. Martin Edwards and Mr. Sadayoshi Makuni there, as we heard, the Chairman and MD of Sharp Electronics UK. Confirming matters from the other side. No figures, never had any down the years. But as Martin Edwards said, it's big. Very, very big. That, incidentally, many opportunities to have a look around the press room, but it really is spectacular. The facilities here for everybody, and I'm including spectators watching matches, who are the most important people, of course, really are first class. It's a club, as I said, right at the top, Sammy, that's got champion stamped all over it.
Without a doubt. I think what you said before, Richard, is, I mean, the main thing was winning the league. And what they've done is they've built the stadium, they've went from strength to strength, they've got the best squad, the biggest squad in the league, and as you say, everything fits into place.
Well, we've heard what supporters think about what we have in store today. Let's go and speak to another big football fan. That's Barry McGuigan, who's arriving for this game today and talking to Stuart Watts.
Barry, what are you doing here today?
I'm here because of this fellow here. He's a Manchester United fan, and well, I was in Old Trafford last month at the Ben Eubank fight, and it was a massive success, and it was a tremendous atmosphere. And I just said to myself, well, the next opportunity I get to come along and watch United playing, I'm going to take this fellow along. He's a Narden fan. His mother was a fan in the days of Georgie Best, and I think he's picked that up of his mum in the genes, I'm afraid. So that's why we're here. And we're looking forward to see a United win. We really wanted it to happen today. And it's a fabulous occasion, it's a fabulous venue, and I'm just very pleased that they've accepted me in the Premier Lounge.
Do you support any team in particular?
I do, and they played brilliantly yesterday, and I hope that's a turning point for them. Tottenham Hotspur, I'm a big fan of Tottenham Hotspur, but I'm afraid to say it out too loud, because within arm's reach is the Manchester United fans, and I'm about to get swamped.
Yes, and he'll get into trouble when he gets home as well. Blaine's mum is not old enough to have seen George Best play football, I'll tell you that. Those Manchester United fans that Barry McGuigan was talking about, settling down for what they hope is another 3 points today, but there have been signs over the past 6 weeks or so that maybe United aren't on the roll that we thought. 3 or 4 draws in their last 6 games. 10 points clear, so they can afford it, Sammy, can't they? But is there hope for the rest?
I think teams are coming now to Old Trafford and shutting up the shop. The chance, like the way I think Ipswich started and got a result here. I mean, Ipswich are a footballing side, but I mean, how can you match United the way they're playing at the minute by football? I think any team that comes here and tries to match United football are going to get a beating. That's how I think. They're so confident And I think teams are going to hold them, try and play on the break. And I think Villa today, with like Atkinson and Saunders, they're the two players that could trouble United.
Well, we'll find out very shortly. Manchester United and Aston Villa go head-to-head again. As we've said once or twice this afternoon, they've met twice this year, and those matches really were top draw. Can they turn it on again today for us? Next, Andy Gray on the teams.
You're watching Sky Sports.
It's match time on Sky Sports. Manchester United versus Aston Villa. Exclusively live on Ford Super Sunday.
Nearly there, I must say, I can't wait. These matches have been so good recently. Manchester United against Aston Villa from Old Trafford on Super Sunday this afternoon. And let's have a look who the bookies fancy. United odds on, Aston Villa 4-1. You'll get 13-5 on the draw. We're in the company here today of Sammy McElroy and Peter With. And let's go outside and take a closer look at one or two of the players on view. First of all, Guy Whittingham, who came from Portsmouth, Peter, in the summer, £1 million worth, but hasn't held down a regular place yet. Why is that?
Because the other two, really, Atkinson and Saunders. He's been a bit unfortunate, to be fair. I mean, the lad has come to the club. He hasn't really been played as a two strikers, what he's been used to. He come out of the army, went to Portsmouth, played in a 4-4-2 formation, and now he's being asked to play in a 4-3-3 formation. Sometimes they try and play Daly and Atkinson in the hole and let the two of them, but to be fair to the lad, whenever he's played, I mean, he's scored a couple of goals for them. But until he gets a good run in the side, you're not going to see the best of Guy Whittingham.
Have we seen the best of Roy Keane yet, Sammy? And it hasn't been a bad start, has it, in United's colours for Roy Keane?
I don't think so, to be honest with you. I think there's a lot more to come from Keane, actually. I think he's a terrific player and a player that United had to buy for me. But I'm sure Roy himself, if you speak to him, he's got more left in him. He can score goals. I think, like people have said, like years ago, he's like a Robson of years ago, and I think he is. And I think he can score double figures every season, and he'll go from strength to strength. But it's still that settling in period at the minute, where I think he's trying to come over. But he'll be all right for him.
Somebody that doesn't make headlines like Roy Keane, but he's every bit as important to Aston Villa, is Kevin Richardson, who plays today. Doesn't get too many mentions, Peter, does he? But what a vital cog in there.
They've missed him, to be fair. I mean, he's been injured and he's been out the side because of injury, and they've missed him. He's a very influential player. He likes the ball, never hides, doesn't matter how he's playing, influences the side from midfield, gets good tackles in, very aggressive player, not short on that department. The one thing that probably he doesn't get enough, he doesn't get enough goals. He doesn't get forward in them positions, but he does get forward, and maybe he should really do a bit like a Roy Keane, is get forward and get beyond the strikers and score a couple of goals.
That's Kevin Richardson. Paul McGrath, there was a line today in the press saying he'd play in goal for Jack Charlton. I think he probably couldn't he? He's so relaxed and confident, Sammy?
Tremendous player. I mean, I think he's one of the best still centre-backs in the Football League. I mean, a lot of talk about when he left there that he had finished, sore knees and whatever, it wouldn't last. And he's playing best ever. I mean, I think he proved that last year when he got the Players' Player of the Year or whatever, Football Player of the Year. I mean, tremendous, great attitude for the game. And I still think he could play another 4 or 5 years away is at the minute.
Will today be a bit more special to him, bearing in mind he used to play here?
That's right. I mean, he loves coming back here. I know that. He'll love it today with the atmosphere. And he'll want to do one on United, to be honest.
And their manager, perhaps, Alex Ferguson.
That's
Eric
right.
Cantona. Is there anything left to say about Eric Cantona? So important to Manchester United, leading scorer, and aside from that, makes so many of their goals too, doesn't he?
I think he's been one of Ferguson's greatest buys. Turned the corner for him, I think, last season. And I think him and Hughes have got a great understanding. The two of them have got 11 goals each. They link up well together. He could win a game from nothing. He's going to do something unexpected. And as I say, today, this will be his stage today.
The frightening thing about Manchester United is that, I mean, you mentioned him and Mark Hughes, but they can score goals from virtually anywhere. 12 of the 14 named today have scored this season. It's a frightening statistic, isn't it? And when you compare that to Arsenal, for instance, only 4 of their first team squad have scored goals. Only 6 from Newcastle. Well, what can you do about them?
Well, as I say, you know, you look at the team today, every angle, both sides of the park, there's going to be goal scorers. I think, me and Peter were talking about, I think Parker, it might be the only player actually that hasn't scored.
He's the only one, yes, apart from the goalkeeper.
From the goalkeeper. I mean, the way Schmeichel kicks the ball, he could actually score a goal, you know what I mean? I mean, he could put it in one end or the other. But every angle he can score, left side, right side, midfield coming through, you know, you just can't stop them.
Quality goals, more often than not. I mean, maybe not their fair share of bobblers.
Well, that's right. I mean, that goal there from Sharp, actually, I mean, that could have went out of the ground, as we all know. But, I mean, they're hitting them from front, from 20 yards. Ince is even scoring more regular now than what he used to when he was at West Ham. They're on top of their game.
They've got pace as well, Peter, haven't they?
They have got a lot of pace on the side.
In abundance. Blimey, have they got pace?
They look sometimes, you know, it's talking about Wimbledon, about the pace on the side. You look at their side and you look at the players with the pace on the side, and that creates problems for you. If people have got pace and if people are running through, I mean, free kicks, it doesn't matter what they're doing.
When the ball's dead, they'll score, won't they?
It doesn't matter what they're doing, I mean, they score goals. That's the problem that you've got. I mean, what do you do? The only thing you've got to do is maybe play 16 players against them.
So where are the points going today, Peter?
I fancy a draw. I'm being I think that Villa always come and rise to the big occasion. Listening to Sammy about what he's saying about sides coming and defend, I would not think that Ron Atkinson will come here and defend. I would think that he's going out to win the game. The two up front, I think if Atkinson has a go, when he scored the goal at Villa Park with his pace, can frighten people. And I think that he's the one, he could be the big link really for them. And I think that if he's on song, I think they've got a great chance.
So a draw for you?
I'm going for a draw though, yes.
Sammy?
Well, I'm going to surprise you. I'm going for United.
Yeah, that is a surprise.
And I think they're on top of the game is what they say. Cantona, Hughes, the Canchelsis, Sharp, they're all on top of the game. And I'd love to see Roy Keane actually, big stage today, really show what he can do. And I'll go for United win.
Is that difficult for you to say that? I mean, I know you're
it's
a big United fan.
It's very hard. I know it's very hard. It's very hard for me to say that, but I am.
You like Big Ron, and you like the way he plays his football, don't you?
And when I said about teams coming here to defend, no way. Peter's right. Big Ron won't come here to defend because he'll want to put a show on. That's his style. But I think United's going to be too strong for him.
OK, outside waiting for us, our match commentators today, Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Hello again, everyone. Andy and I were just talking about the fact that the last two Manchester United games here have both ended in draws against Ipswich and Norwich, Andy. Do you think that Aston Villa can draw some conclusions from that?
They can draw hope. I think that's the first thing they can draw. There's a little bit of hope, but it's hard to know what they can take from either game because I think Ipswich came here and defended in numbers, frustrated Manchester United, made life very difficult for them. Rode their luck, got a draw, got a point. Norwich came with a freshness about them, a positiveness, going forward, looking to create chances themselves, not looking to sit back and defend, and ended up only with a point as well. So what does Ron do? Does he keep it tight and sit back and hope that he can break forward? Or does he show that cavalier attitude that we do know his side possess and come here and try and win the game from the first minute? It's going to be fascinating to see.
Well, let's check on the team that Ron Atkinson's Aston Villa are facing. Alex Ferguson has had a furrowed brow this week, but only because he's had all his squad available, not an injury in sight to restrict the choice. Well, the key areas for the Manchester United manager, centre midfield, where Roy Keane regains his role alongside Paul Ince, Brian McClare making way, and then the two wide positions where competition is particularly fierce between Lee Sharp, Ryan Giggs and Andrei Kanchelskis. Sharp, the scorer of those two goals at Villa Park, keeps his place, and Kanchelskis, who came on to good effect at Newcastle last weekend, he edges out Giggs today.
Well, there's not an awful lot you can say about this formation, Martin. It's tried and trusted. It's what Alec believes is his best one. It's the four at the back, solid as ever, giving nothing away. The four in midfield, which he's chopped into ends. Probably the only one in there who's solid, who's kept his place. Roy Keane's been given a couple of days off, a few games off. Brian McClare's performed. This was the two areas, as you say. Kanchelskis, maybe he's picked for his being right-sided. Maybe he's been picked to go outside or the Villa full-back to produce crosses. We know that Ryan Giggs has a tendency to love to drive infield onto his stronger left foot. Perhaps Andre's been picked for that direct approach, but there was no surprise that this lad was picked, in my opinion anyway, because of the wonderful game he had at Villa Park earlier in the season. He's got ability to get down and produce crosses. He's got ability to come inside and join up and score goals from everywhere. Hughes, we all know, will be the one name for. Any balls played up to him from anywhere on the pitch, Mark will link up, keep them the ball. That's vital. And then there's a Cantona factor. Just how do you contain him? What do you do with him? Do you mark him man for man? When he drops into these deep positions, as you and I saw in the local derby, the Manchester derby, and he caused havoc, even from deep. So what do you do with him? The Cantona factor is one of the great things about this game. But apart from that, it's very much what you see week in, week out.
OK, well, not anything too much in the way of surprise for Manchester United, although the Ryan Giggs followers will be disappointed. He is a substitute, of course. Ron Atkinson, his options restricted by the unavailability of two of his Republic of Ireland contingent, Steve Staunton, who's close to recovery from a hernia operation, and Andy Townsend, who's had knee surgery. Well, Brian Small is becoming something of a specialist for matches against Manchester United. He's in again to stop the supply from the right. The captain, Kevin Richardson, has recovered from a freak domestic injury after missing his first games in 2.5 years. Out goes Gordon Cowans and also Ray Houghton to accommodate Guy Whittingham. So Villa varying their strategy to combat United's strengths, but certainly not to just sit back and invite pressure.
Certainly not. This is well, it's a bit of a gamble. He's doing something totally different. El Barrett, first thing we look for, the middle of that midfield. He'll definitely be the holding player, Mark. I think he will mark Eric Cantona man for man. Did a brilliant job in Ian Wright in a recent League Cup tie at Highbury. That will be El Barrett's job. Both full-backs will be asked to push right in on the two wide men. Small and Konchelskis, Cox on Sharp. McGrath and Teal will be asked between them to cope with Mark Hughes. Gary Parker, I'm sure, will be the one thrusting forward from midfield, trying to occupy, I think, Paul Ince and keep him defensively. Up front, it looks like three there, but what Daly and Atkinson's been given is a roving role. He's been said, go and join in short, go pick it up short, run down the channels, go there and get it, run at players, commit centre-backs all over the pitch, go and make yourself useful. But it's the other two positions that are interesting, and it's an area, Martin, both Saunders and Whittingham are being asked to play today, and it's an area where I think they can trouble Manchester United. We've got some VT of it, and it's from previous games that they've played. Here, a great example of it, and this is the areas where I think both Whittingham and Saunders will be asked to play. If we hold it there, now what they're going to try and do, I think, is draw the full-back ahead of the play, and what that does, it leaves a lovely inviting gap in there for any ball played in there, and they want Saunders and Whittingham to be bending their runs and going on the outside of the centre-backs. And if we look at this one here, Saunders times it perfectly, and he's immediately causing problems. And I think Ron thinks that is his best opportunity to go. Again here, we hold it there, he's through, look at that, he's away, and Steve Bruce is left. The full-back has been tucked up the pitch, dragged towards the ball, and Villa will try and get the ball in these areas and let, in this case, Saunders, Whittingham, and if he gets there, obviously Atkinson with his pace. And of course that night at Villa Park, just missing out there, Daly and Atkinson, but the goal, even there, out there, you see just out a shot there, Paul Parker again has been dragged up, Steve Bruce is left one-on-one, Atkinson gets it out his feet, the rest, well, it's history, isn't it? He goes away and buries it.
Talking to Ron Atkinson down below, he's arrived here with his sense of humour very much intact despite the recent run, 5 league games without a win. He said, I said to Daly and Atkinson yesterday, go and play where you want, and he said, well, I'll go to Spain, boss.
That's no surprise. But the one thing that I think Ron has to be always wary of, and I think it's what every team would come here and put them under some pressure, and if we can just roll this on for just a couple of seconds until the ball goes across right. Now we can hold that there, Martin, and that, look at that, Manchester United have got what, 8, including the goalkeeper, 9 players behind the ball. But watch how quickly, when they lose possession, Villa, that United break. Suddenly, they've got the ball, and watch how many red shirts. Look at that, there's now 5 ahead of the play, getting into goal-scoring positions. Giggs backs it up there, that's crucial. And just when Villa think they've cleared that, who do you think pops up? It's not a Villa jersey coming in there, it's another red one. And that is a real threat. You can think you've got them under pressure, and suddenly they spring with such speed They really catch teams out.
Do you think, looking back to where we were sitting here in March, where the teams were very, very close, very well matched, do you think now that Manchester United have gone that much further forward, have Villa gone back, or a bit of both?
That could be the key factor today. Previous games, the last two in particular, I think the teams have been so closely matched. Both have gone into games on form. I think that's been the important thing. But today there's a definite difference in that, isn't there? Manchester United are as high in confidence in his form as we've seen them probably. And Villa, probably in Ron Atkinson's last 18 months, as low in confidence, and maybe not form, but low in confidence in results as they've been. So that's a true test. But I tell you what, I know the big man very well at Villa, and he would love his team to go out there and perform the way he knows they can. And if they do that, we'll get as good a game as the previous encounters. No doubt in my mind about that.
Well, they've been singing their anthems here. We are the champions. Now it's the brighter side of life, the brightest side of life, really, for Manchester United. As a business, as well as a football team, they're flourishing. They took £250,000 at the souvenir shop in the forecourt here over the last week. That's just 1 week, even though it's leading up to Christmas. It just shows you the sort of figures we're talking about. They've had the ground valued here. We talk about the value of players. The ground has been valued at £46 million. So if they traded in something on that with a mortgage or two, they could certainly sustain things if they did hit a bad run and needed the odd new player or two.
You're joking. Give the rest of us a chance, Mark. They don't need the odd new player.
So we're getting very, very close now. Joe Worrell with his two linesmen, Joe Copeland and Jim McGrath, at the head of the teams. It's all so well staged here at Old Trafford as well. Just listen to the noise as the players come out of the tunnel. It is a match to make your mouth water. Aston Villa trying to find the formula to make Manchester United look mere mortals. The two clubs have provided two classics already this year. Stand by for something similar. It's after the break.
We're ready. Let's join Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Manchester United champing at the bit to get underway here in defence. They've been economical and efficient in attack. There's been a swagger in their step as a unit, unsurpassed so far. And the chance to reach the halfway mark of their Premiership season, leading the league by 13 points. We've got the usual problem with the Aston Villa away kit, the green and black stripes in regard to the referee's jersey, which is green, as is that worn by Peter Schmeichel. The referee is Joe Worrell, who's passed the potential colour clash as OK from his point of view. Here's Saunders, Small, Barrett in midfield, Parker, now Barrett, cross from Cox, Kai Whittingham trying to ease it on. Villa, who dogged Manchester United's footsteps for so long last season, but they're now 6 wins off the pace. They do feel they've been playing reasonably well despite an indifferent sequence of results. Cox. Parker, it's a very positive start here from Ron Atkinson and Aston Villa, epitomised there by Gary Parker. United pinned back into their own half, and finally Villa found a shooting position with Parker.
Oh, it's been a great start for Aston Villa. That's a magnificent strike. I mean, full credit to Schmeichel, to be fair. He's right behind it. But we have to admire the quality of the strike from Gary Parker. And you're right, it's been a very positive start from the visitors.
McGrath with a header. Saunders chasing. Here's Irwin. Joe Worrell is not going to give any second chances here to Neil Cox, who's surrounded by Manchester United players. Steve Bruce leading the protest.
It's ugly, there's no doubt about that. An ugly tackle from Neil Cox. The United players were incensed by it. He's trying to let the ball run away. Cox has committed himself to a very crude-looking tackle, and no surprise to see Joe Worrell reach for the yellow card.
Joe Worrell refereeing in Manchester for the second time in a matter of 4 days. He was at Main Road for that League Cup replay against Nottingham Forest.
I think Steve Bruce, you know, is just having a word with Joe Worrell about his shirt. I think he was just saying to the referee, you know, if you're a defender and that Joe Worrell's ahead of you and you just glance up, I wouldn't be surprised if Joe receives a few passes today.
Of course, we saw the officials when Villa played at Liverpool recently changed to white tops. Well, Mark Bosnich had to keep that one covered. On the subject of referees, he actually told Joe Worrell when the teams went out that he refereed a game in midweek and never wants to do it again, Mark Bosnich. So his appreciation of the difficulties of the officials at this level now is that much greater. Bosnich, of course, formerly of Manchester United. Cox. Headed forward by Ince. The pass by Cantona, swept to the left towards Lee Sharp. Sharp, who did such damage in August at Villa Park. Ince. And now Manchester United starting to put together one or two things and get some momentum going here. Short free kick.
The wide areas are going to be interesting, Martin, if Manchester United get a bit of pressure, because then there'll be a big onus on people like Whittingham and Saunders to work back down the pitch and help the defenders out. Because there will be gaps for both Irwin and Parker to go into if they desire, with no one really directly against them. But I'm looking at El Barrett and he's looking around for Eric Cantona all the time. So that certainly looks as if we've got that right. But that can be difficult. We saw Ian Wright destroy. What a great job Des Walker did on him at Highbury in a split second. And Cantona is equally capable of doing the same.
Saunders chasing here. Keeping it in, and Whittingham was looking to attack the cross, and there'll be a stoppage here. Villa have an injury. Looks like Gary Parker.
Yeah, got caught. Mark Hughes just caught him when he was clearing the ball.
Well, last season Ron Atkinson said that if he had one player he could get to turn Villa into a championship-winning side, this was the fella, Roy Keane. Well, of course, he was then being linked with a move to Blackburn Rovers. He eventually ended up here at Manchester United and is opposing one of his greatest admirers today, Ron Atkinson. Down there with his assistant, Jim Barron. Ray Houghton, you saw in the background, who's not involved today. Gary Parker has a place in midfield.
It's always fascinating, isn't it, Martin, when the team sort of tinkers with their tactics to come to Old Trafford, and to see it evolve in front of us here. It really is going to be a fascinating day. You know, will Barrett's job on Cantona be effective? Will Cox and Small be able to handle Sharp and Kinchelskis? You know, will Keane break from midfield? All these sort of questions, and can Villa themselves create anything at the other end?
Am I right, Andy, that when Earl Barrett marked Ian Wright recently, actually Villa had only 3 other defenders?
That's
here
correct.
today they've got 4 other defenders.
Yeah, I think that shows you how highly he rates Manchester United. He went in with just with Cox, McGrath and Teal as 3 right along the back, and only picked them against Arsenal.
Oh, Barrett right along Cantona there. Richardson, they're so glad to have him back after he damaged his back, straining it, picking up his small children at home. There's a problem many a father will be dealing with over the next few days, I'm sure. Tucked on by King. This is Kanchelskis on the run. Teal, who put through his own goal recently in that sort of area against Sheffield Wednesday, making sure there was no suggestion of a slice.
The only problem Manchester United have here is that Andrei Kanchelskis is so quick, he has no one supporting him.
Saunders, knocked away in a hurry by Brian Small. Ince. Oh, he was caught out there by good chasing back from Dalian Atkinson. But there's a real purpose about Villa when they've got the ball. It was certainly the way they played here at the back end of last season. Cox. Barrett's got forward. It was a cross that took out the goalkeeper, but there was no one attacking it. And maybe there was just too much pace on it from Neil Cox.
I think you're probably right. A little bit heavy. The area's right. I don't think there's anything wrong with where Neil Cox is trying to put this ball. And Villa have got plenty players in and around, but no one you see committing themselves to the back post.
Hughes, who scored, of course, in this game last season and got the winner in this particular fixture the year before. Man to keep out of harm's way. Aston Villa have found. It's a clever ball by Parker, attacked well by Atkinson, who's starting more on the left-hand side. Parker again. Well, it was flicked on by Neil Cox. Just having a look round to make sure that was true. He's vacated this part of the pitch to do that, but Villa have got plenty of cover. It was a very ambitious move from the young defender.
Well, if there's more of that to come, it can only enhance the quality of the game. People commit themselves forward like that from the back. Well, even Steve Bruce is ahead of the ball now. What's happening here?
Parker, that's Paul Parker, of course. Kanchelskis. Cantona having to turn cleverly, and he was up to the task. Kanchelskis with a cross. Sharp coming in. The lad from the West Midlands, of course, was on schoolboy forms with Birmingham City. It certainly marks him down to be the right sort of opponent to Aston Villa. Richardson. Saunders made a good run in that sort of channel, but he's gone a little bit early and he's offside.
Again, it's very close. He does make that run very well, Dean Saunders, because he does what he should do and he pulls towards the ball. See the ball played there, you see how close. It's a dangerous tactic that Gary Pallister's looking to do there, because he doesn't know where Dennis Irwin's position is behind him.
Keane. Teal showing him the outside. Keane has to check. There's help there from Kanchelskis. There's Hughes and Sharp in the centre. There's Ince coming from deep here. He is. Paul Parker well forward as well. But it was a very poor ball by the sort of standards we're talking about today.
Well, I'd like to offer the players one or two excuses and say the wind's probably affecting it, but as you and I know, at pitch level, it's actually remarkably good. I think just a couple of poor crosses from Kanchelskis and Parker have let down promising Manchester United moves.
Cantona was found by Pallister, and Parker now with another chance to serve it up from the right-hand side. Hughes.
Everyone got ahead of Mark Hughes there. He was desperate for someone who had pulled at the edge of the box to lay it off. but they'd all gone ahead of him.
Gary Parker. Waiting for Cox to go outside him, then uses him as a decoy. Flag was up against Dean Saunders. Joe Worrell saw it and then decided to let the game go on. Tackle by Barrett on Cantona was fair enough. Well, it's a real pre-Christmas treat just to be here.
Brilliant. It's always a magnificent place to come, isn't it?
And remember, we're back at Old Trafford next Sunday. Find a gap in your festivities to fit us in. Manchester United against Kenny Dalglish's Blackburn Rovers. Richardson, nicely done. And again, Dalian Atkinson taking up a position where United didn't track him. Saunders working the wide position, something Peter Wids was saying earlier on, that maybe he should be letting others supply the crosses for him.
I think normally he's right, Peter Wids, for the point, but I think today he's going to have to work the wide areas with the formation that Ron's picked.
Certainly battling hard there. And took Whittingham by surprise. Oh, Kanchelskis, Bostic has started to come, he's totally committed. He can't make any contact. Cantona's in the centre, but the ball isn't. So huge relief for all connected with Aston Villa, especially their goalkeeper.
Well, I don't know what Mark Bosnich was thinking about, but he's very thankful that not for the first or last time he's helped out by Paul McGrath. I mean, you can see McGrath's got everything under control there, and his goalkeeper appears from nowhere, and he's got to make this tackle, McGrath. He knows it, and look at that for determination and commitment. First class.
Well, you can only think, and maybe you forgive him for it, that Mark Bosnich is just caught up in the special atmosphere here, and a bit too excitable.
Well, he's young in the goalkeeping stakes, isn't he?
Influenced, of course, initially by Manchester United and Alex Ferguson. Put on the back burner when Peter Schmeichel arrived and then decided to go his own way back to Australia. Saunders, that's Whittingham, and Schmeichel has to seize the ball low down.
The key to Villa seems to be, can they get Atkinson on the ball enough? When he has been able to get on control of it, he has dragged one of the centre-backs out of position, and that's created a hole, and perhaps Whittingham and Saunders could get on top of that.
Atkinson again, it's Ince who tackled him that time. Hughes has to hold it up for a moment. And Kanchelskis, clever footwork. Small, though, is a sprinter too, as you saw.
That's why he's there. No question about the lad's ability in a one-against-one in a race. He'll be there. He won't be found wanting.
15 minutes have flown by to really whet the appetite here if it needs any more of that. Owen. Keane. Now Bruce. McGrath. Such a major figure at Manchester United in the past. Need to catch the eye, I think, for Villa here. And have a lot of work to do at the back. Parker threading it forward for Kanchelskis. Nicely weighted. Kanchelskis with the cross. Cantona climbing! Off the post. Locked with Villa. McGrath hoofed it to safety. Cantona so close.
Amazing when you put a cross of quality in. But Villa were caught short in area where I thought they would be, Matt, and that's wide. Parker and Kanchelskis get involved and create the opening. I'll tell you what, it's a cross of quality. This is his most difficult cross. This isn't easy. Got to dig it out of there. And Barrett, well, he's out-jumped there totally. And like so often in the games, and the last 3 times these teams have played, how many often have we seen the ball come back off the woodwork? And yet again, Villa saved by it there.
Whittingham. Cantona climbing to a cross on the run from Kanchelskis, and shades of what Robert Lee did to the detriment of Manchester United up at St James's Park last weekend, when Andy Cole, in a far less congested penalty area in truth in that incident, Got Newcastle level in that game. Here's Barrett, though, leaving the Frenchman to move forward. Saunders. He does like to do that, come in from the left on his right foot, but he really telegraphed his intentions then.
I think he's so keen to get on the score sheet, Martin. He's at the moment trying to shoot from what I would call impossible angles. When perhaps a 1-2 certainly well, Barrett was on there. Barrett had pulled and held his position well. But he had only one thing on his mind there, being Saunders, and that was to go for goal.
The surface being slicked now by heavy rain. Saunders. Oh, it comes to Saunders. There's a shot on here. That's the way it's been going for him. Straight at Schmeichel.
It's at times like these when you're struggling for goals that you need to hit a shot in this area and bobble it in. Nothing wrong with his connection. Hits it very cleanly and very well, but very straight.
When the ball does go high above the stands, the wind is playing a part. Right from Pallister. Kept pretty low by Schmeichel, looking to find Hughes. It was Richardson who intervened. Cox really throwing it down now. Saunders, not a bad idea, not too good with the execution. Schmeichel hurling it well over the halfway line. Kanchelskis into overdrive again. Only Hughes in the middle. And you can't hardly blame Manchester United for that. It happened so quickly from one end to the other.
Amazing when your goalkeeper, such a potent weapon when you're going forward, isn't it? But Mark Hughes is unfortunate. You're the only striker there. You have to gamble, do you? Do you go near and check far post, or do you check to go far and go near? Hughes in that case opted to go near post. You see him there indicate they just wanted it fed in there.
Hughes certainly kept on his toes when he was substituted early in the second half at St James's Park. Certainly gave the bench a long hard look when his number came up. But it's the quality of the squad that Alex Ferguson's got at his disposal. I think today Brian McClare and Ryan Giggs on the bench. No room at all for Brian Robson, who's champing at the bit. Joe Worrell has ruled in favour of Manchester United here, coming up to the 20-minute mark. So Pallister with the free kick. Well, no sooner had Sean Teal made the header that he was directing his defenders to get out on that far side to stop Manchester United making inroads again. It's looked a profitable area for them. With Kanchelskis is infield at the moment and laid the ball wide to Keane, who was furthest away.
Just looking at Eric Cantona, and you see him at the bottom of the screen there on the right. He's just wandering about. He knows he's been picked up man for man. He's just saying to himself, well, I'll just take myself out of certain areas. Maybe somebody else can get in on that.
Bruce. Well, of course, he'll be used from his experience in France. I'm sure man-to-man marking is not a strange opponent to him. He's giving us the closest moment to a goal. Here come Manchester United again with Mark Hughes. Ince got a foot in. Sharp. Cantona knew he couldn't head for goal. Got it back into an area where Kanchelskis was likely to reach the ball, which he did. Parker. Keane. And Villa are struggling here. Cantona! Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0. In the 22nd minute, he's hit the post, and now he's hit the back of the net.
No surprise this, Martin. They get caught 3 against 2 on the right, and also they get Daly and Atkinson defending in an unusual position. But you ride the luck a little bit. 3 players, Teal, Barrett and McGrath all have opportunities to clear it. Goes through Teal's legs at the near post. Barrett can only touch it away from McGrath. And Eric Cantona doesn't miss chances like this.
A year ago to the very day, he scored his first Manchester United goal. That was at Chelsea. And there's his latest at the expense of Aston Villa.
It was really Roy Keane's run that opened him up, Martin, and Parker picked him out very well indeed.
Here's Richardson. Atkinson. Now Owen. Sharp staying right out on this near touchline, stretching Villa across their back line. Bruce, and there's plenty of good quality and good width on the far side as well.
You see it again here, and it's Keane who Daly and Atkinson in an unusual position, but this touch there from El Barrett was crucial, because I'm sure Paul McGrath was just about to clear it. Barrett could only touch it away from McGrath. And for a man of Cantona's quality, the rest was simple.
Here's Cox. Whittingham. Cox with the cross. A foul by Daly and Atkinson on Paul Parker. Manchester United giving Villa no respite here, a quick free kick. Kanchelski's the type of player, if you're a defender, who just keeps coming at you. Hughes. Manchester United really in the mood at the moment. Keane. And Villa grateful for some defensive help just for a moment from Guy Whittingham.
There is no respite at the moment, Martin. The goal has given them a huge injection of confidence, as if they needed it, Manchester United. And they're pushing forward relentlessly at the moment.
Sharp too eagerly.
But it's times like this as the opposing team, you just have to dig in. Stem the tide. Get back into the game. Don't concede another goal. To go 2 down here, then it really would be a hill to climb for Aston Villa.
Whittingham. And Joe Worrell saw that splendidly. His positioning there was perfect. He had a view of what was happening around the ball and what was happening off it.
He was quite prepared to let it go, had Daly and Atkinson stayed on his feet as well. He waited till he could see Atkinson was going to gain no advantage.
Paul McGrath has made his way up. Neil Cox is there as well. By Ince, who got the ball and only back to Brian Small. Parker, Whittingham. Pallister was fully committed then. Gone through a little spate of giving away penalties, Gary Pallister, so each challenge in the penalty area has to be scrutinised from his own point of view, let alone the referees. Sharp chasing. Bosnich knew what had to be done and did it well. Gary Parker. Great interception there by Keane. Cantona. Barrett has him in his sights. And all he can do is prevent the corner. Already the player that Barrett's responsible for, although you can hardly direct it totally at Barrett's for the blame, has given Manchester United the lead. Look at Bruce, look at the confidence of the champions. And let's not forget, we've made a lot of capital about how difficult it's been to retain the title. Liverpool have made a habit of it. Manchester United are certain that it's going to come this way, although they're not telling us publicly.
They'll feel sure that it's theirs already, but This is a measure of the confidence. This would have been one for the scrapbook. And that nestled in the top corner. Steve Bruce from 35 yards.
Alex Ferguson has been calling all the newspaper headlines about Manchester United's majesty and their lengthy lead propaganda. He said, if you think back what they used to do in the war to people who put propaganda about, that was an offence then, wasn't it? And he's founded a journalistic offence. But I did get him to admit that if Manchester United put together a run of wins in the sort of fixtures they've got coming up, that even he would begin to believe that it wasn't just propaganda, that it would be footballing fact. Got Blackburn coming here, of course, Leeds United as well on New Year's Day. And Chelsea's with the cross. Bosnick's blocked it. And that's when the goalkeeper wanted defenders to be on their toes to help him out. And Earl Barrett lived up to that billing.
What a good save, man, because I think he wasn't expecting this at all. Because it drove itself into the box. Another very good cross from Kanchelskis. I think he expects McGrath to get the header, and Paul McGrath for once doesn't. And that became an instinctive save. And when he needed a bit of luck and have a defender around, he had one.
It's got a taste for scoring again up at Newcastle. Well, the linesman is flagging here. The crowd don't like it.
I don't think that Lee Sharp was offside, whether it was Roy Keane coming back. But the game is played at such a pace, it's no wonder the linesmen sometimes get tight offsides wrong.
I'm amazed how often they get it right, to be honest with you. Whittingham. Talking about Manchester United's big games coming up, they've got a trip, of course, to Oldham, where they were beaten last season. And then the game we'll be bringing you live on Sky Sports early in the new year. Liverpool at home to Manchester United. Cox feeling the pressure.
I wonder, Neil Cox is indicating there that the ball came off his thigh, he should have picked it up. And I think he's probably got a point there.
Irwin. Oh, taken by surprise was Keane, because Kevin Richardson missed it.
Well, it's a chance, because you should always assume, Roy Keane should be assuming that Kevin Richardson's going to miss this. His concentration should be there, but he just takes his eye off it, and the chance is lost. But he'll be a relief man.
Well, it's not a case of Villa sitting back here, they're being forced back. Ron Atkinson knows the value of having a go at Manchester United, even on their own territory, but you've got to have the ball to do that. It started that way. Villa were the quicker side to settle here. But now the home side carry the threat, and what a threat.
Breakdown in communications there. Cantona wanted the ball earlier than Roy Keane was prepared to give it.
Atkinson. He was pressed by Keane. Hughes offside against Roy Keane, who, as soon as Manchester United had got the ball, and he played a part in that, set off on another of those surging runs.
Paul Ince has just given Mark Hughes a volley there, because he set off as well. You watch Ince get through the middle there. He suddenly turns round and gives him a volley. But at times it must be a nightmare wearing a red shirt, because you've got so many options. How on earth do you pick the right one?
Well, that's what the great players do, of course.
Yeah. It's what they say, though. If you give players on the ball options, then you've got a chance of being a team. And certainly, whenever a red shirt is on the ball, so many variations they can choose from.
Gary Parker. Alistair with a header. Gary Parker again, trying to bend it round his namesake towards Dalian Atkinson. He was followed into Gary Parker. I think the referee gave him the benefit of the doubt then. Certainly Villa had the ball in any case. If you're hit by Mark Hughes, you tend to stay hit for a moment or two.
It's all in front at the moment for me, Aston Villa. All in front of the back four. Manchester United quite comfortable. They've really not been a threat in behind for quite some time now.
Vince and Chelskis centre field at the moment, going wide now. Spotted by Small, so that's why Bruce looked into another area for the run of Ince. Richardson. Well, the players forward for Aston Villa. One of them is Neil Cox. He could be in here and just couldn't get his footing right when the ball was in range. But that's not the first time we've seen Cox take a chance and dart into the penalty area.
What a difference, Mark, no. I talked about getting in behind him, and for the first time in a long time, it's exactly what a player does. And he's very unlucky, Neil Cox. Doesn't get the run of the ball. If he did have, he's got the composure to have done something with that chance. But that's what's needed. You need people to get in behind. And he did it from a deep area. But full marks, in all honesty, to Lee Sharp, did what you would want all your defensive players to do in that situation, tracked them all away.
Chelskis. Small trying to jockey him and tackling him brilliantly. A natural defender, Brian Small. Earned the right to be picked whenever Aston Villa's fixture list shows the name of Manchester United on it. Parker, Barrett. Just needed a slightly defter touch then, but Whittingham was prepared to challenge the defenders with the run. Norwich showed that you can get goals here against Manchester United, and so of course did Galatasaray. Hughes alone through the centre. Cantona was trying to link up with him. Saunders. Well, there wasn't too much cover had he got past Steve Bruce.
But that's the areas Martin will be looking to get Saunders into. Paul Parker just been dragged a little bit further forward than normal. Saunders was looking to spin away down the channel. Well, there's only one winner in that race, I tell you. You don't give Brian Small a 2 or 3 yard start and expect to catch him.
It's being conducted at Olympic pace on the far side there. Nice play by Bruce. Pallister. He's usually a bit more comfortable than that on the ball, but Cantona, a clever turn. Whittingham was in, slayed off by Hughes, forward by Keane. And Bosnich is very eager to come out of his penalty area today.
They're winning most of the second balls at the moment, Manchester United. Any scratches that are going, it's inevitably a red shirt that comes out with the ball.
Owen, Sharp.
That's the worst part of the ground, Martin, down in that corner that Lee Sharp's running into.
It's actually going to be re-turfed before next weekend. That's the heaviest part of the pitch, and they're going to do some Christmas week repairs here. Yes, the ball in play is a good figure there, which seems to be higher than average at this stage, and you certainly get that feel about what we've seen so far. Unrelenting entertainment here, and you're seeing it live on your football channel, Sky Sports. Darwin. Manchester United calm enough in this rattling atmosphere here to just play the ball around at the back if they feel they need to do that, maybe to draw Villa out. Bruce. Parker. Even Kevin Richardson dropping into the back line at times who was strictly opted for Manchester United. But Ince has found some space here. Keane wants it on the edge of the area, and he goes, and probably Mark Hughes, more than Villa defenders, got in his way.
He certainly did. Wonderful run from Paul Ince, and great vision, but look at Mark Hughes. He's honestly trying to pull for the ball, but by doing so, they pull Kevin Richardson into an area that Roy Keane wanted left clear.
What a year Paul Ince has had, week in, week out, for club and for country.
Yeah, I think that Sammy McElroy was mentioning earlier that he thought Peter Beardsley would be a strong contender for the Player of the Year award, the PFA one. But I think that that man you mentioned there, Paul Ince, has got as strong a case as anyone.
Cantona. Wasn't easy to take, but Hughes made light of the difficulties, and he was encouraged to take another chance or two with the ball at his feet rather than look for the supporting cast then. Cantona trying to clip it up towards Kanchelskis.
You don't often see Mark Hughes turned on the opportunity of hitting the ball, and there was one there.
Whittingham taking his opportunity to run with it. Atkinson likewise. Saunders in the centre, Whittingham there as well. Hughes trying to use that legendary strength of his. Little think forward from Dennis Irwin. Sharp, and Teal is labouring a little here. Sharp trying to get it in early, but Bosnich saw it coming. Kanchelskis was herring in to the centre.
Well, it's all United at the moment, Martin. Lee Sharp looked up and did what he had to do. He had to play it early, but it just lacked the pace needed to take the ball through to Andrei Kanchelskis. One of the other major differences in the game so far is when Aston Villa break forward, but Dalian Axman did on the left a minute ago. They had two options in the penalty area, Saunders and Whittingham. When Manchester United break forward, there are people flying in from everywhere.
Kanchelskis with a second chance to cross it. There's been some excellent approach play involving Keane and Paul Parker before we got to that. Paul McGrath trying to stem the tide.
Well, there's been a school of thought that McGrath and Teal haven't been at the job this year, Martin. That's been one of the reasons they haven't been as successful, but they certainly had to perform well today.
And Aston Villa can take some encouragement. They've been on the receiving end. McGrath has done his bit. They're only one down. 5 minutes or so to go to half-time. Eric Cantona, the scorer. Richardson. Hughes couldn't feel Teal behind him that time and knew he had a bit more space to turn with the ball. That from Bosnich. Little cushion volleyed pass.
I tell you what, oh, they give managers heart attacks, wouldn't they? I mean, he could just go back into his area, would have skipped through to him. He collected it quite coolly, but not a goalkeeper.
Richardson.
No movement ahead of him, Martin, as well. Looking along, and Whittingham's having to work across the field.
Here he is. Parker. Atkinson. They've certainly got some weapons in their armoury, Aston Villa. Haven't got too much of the ammunition for those weapons at the moment, though. Kanchelskis. Small backpedaling. One of those that flew across the face where defenders are trying to get out of the way in case they put through their own goal. But mindful of the fact that there might have been a Manchester United leg being stretched forward.
Hughes again, though, Martin. You looked at the way he collected the ball deep in his own half, under pressure, shrugged off one or two tackles, and was able then to pick out a real quality ball to Andrei Kanchelskis.
Richardson is small. Saunders, whose work rate hasn't suffered in this barren spell in terms of goal getting. Parker. Manchester United have got everyone back behind the ball except Mark Hughes. Richardson has a run at them though here.
But that's what they can't do. There's no space between them. The back four are so narrow of Manchester United because Villa have no width in the last third. But they're able to get in contact with each other, and it becomes very difficult for Aston Villa to pick a ball through.
Here's Bruce. Hughes. And Atkinson will be hoping that his side get through without any further alarms for the half-time whistle. Wouldn't be too sure with so much variety about Manchester United's football. Ince. We're trying to find a moment to tell you about our Monday night football. Bear with us. Parker. Here's Kanchelskis. Well, maybe now, quickly, to inform you, remind you. Game with plenty of passion about it in West London. Queen's Park Rangers against Chelsea. Both sides appealing there. Here's a corner. Kanchelskis has had a very lively half. He knows that he has to be on top of his game with Ryan Giggs waiting on the bench. Lee Sharp, left-footed of course, to take the corner. As though it hit an Aston Villa body, but not the way Joe Worrell saw it.
Yeah, you can see Joe in the bottom left-hand corner. He's got a difficult position to see this from. It certainly looked as if it came off El Barrett, and you can see by the goalkeeper's reaction, desperately trying to keep it in, but it possibly did.
Saunders really wasn't on for Neil Cox. Keane. Well, Paul McGrath stepped up so far that he'd gone into the other half, which is a bit risky.
I know it's always difficult for managers to make changes when the game's as tight, back 1-0, but I just wonder if there's a thought in Ron Atkinson's mind to throw Tony Daly on, maybe earlier than you would imagine. Provide that bit of genuine width.
Richardson. Small. Richardson. Cox is in there again. Too long for him.
He's actually been the best ball into the box 3 times now. Neil Cox, you see him there, he pointing to it, he's won that in there, he's timed his run very well indeed. But Kevin Richardson hasn't produced the ball that was required in that situation.
Cox, who's been frustrated this season, he's been talking about a transfer, but now he's having a run in the side. Maybe he'll change his mind. Gary Parker. Richardson. Needed to go hunting it again. Saunders, found by Whittingham. Nothing too much to ruffle Manchester United's feathers. If anything, they were in too much of a hurry to counter-attack. Oh, the kick went straight to Keane. We're in time now that Joe Worrell is choosing to add on. Pallister. Rain falling heavily again. Ince. Sharp waiting on the left. Keane joining Hughes in the centre. Well, in those sort of situations, Sean Teal is very reliable. Sharp. Cox coped. Atkinson, who's been allowed to play as a free spirit in this first half. He loves it when he gets the ball at his feet. However deep he is, he'll run. Hughes. And out by McGrath, who loses it out in turn to Keane. McGrath's there again. Aston Villa's record on this ground is a very poor one. They've won only once here in 39 years. Back in 1983 with a couple of Peter With goals. And they've been on the receiving end again at Old Trafford in the first half. But just one goal for Manchester United to show for their efforts. It came from Eric Cantona midway through the half. Villa tinkering with their tactical strategy to try and diffuse some of Manchester United's strengths. Well, it hasn't totally worked, but the gap at least is bridgeable. At half-time at Old Trafford, Manchester United 1, Aston Villa 0.
Welcome back. We didn't get time the other side of the break to have a look at that stop of Mark Bosnich's from Paul Ince. Was this a good save, or was he fortunate here, Sammy?
No, I think it was a good save, actually. Another great ball in from Concelsus. Ince times it beautifully here. Just right. Heads it down again, which is hard for the goalkeeper. And, you know, keeps it out. I think somebody actually could have been following up there, you know, would have been another goal. But I think it was a good save, actually. He stopped it quite well.
So 1-0 to United at half-time. Aston Villa having had a word or two in there, I'm sure, from Ron Atkinson, ready to do battle again in this second half. Let's rejoin Andy Gray and Martin Tyler.
Thanks, Richard. Andy, you've got some views that Ron Atkinson might change things. We'll see in a moment whether he has. I don't think that he has, but your thoughts on Tony Daly factor?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that everything was so narrow, and particularly in the last third of the match, at the pitch for Aston Villa, that Daly, who's naturally wide anyway and would feel confident about playing there, might be an option for Ron. Now, he's not one for changing things too quickly when the games are tight like this. So I certainly didn't expect to see it at half-time, but I just wonder how long he would let it go at 1-0 before thinking of making a change of some sort.
Eric Cantona, at the moment, with today's goal, leads the Manchester United scorers list. He has 12 to Mark Hughes' 11. 10 of Cantona's goals have come in the league. So 1-0 to Manchester United. Perhaps they will feel not enough to show for their first half supremacy. Whittingham. Now Richardson. Nowhere to go wide on the right. Crossed by McGrath. Atkinson. Michael was only hurrying just to get the ball back.
That was a classic problem there that Kevin Richardson had. Went across the pitch, looking for an outlet, and there's nothing for him. Ends up playing the ball back to one of his centre-halves. A hopeful cross up there, and there's nothing much Daly actually can do. But he was looking around at his players, looking for width, and it wasn't there.
Neil Cox had actually got himself involved in midfield, and one of those little enterprising dashes that were a feature, perhaps the best feature for Villa in the first half in an attacking sense. Oh, Kanchelskis put through by Hughes. Bosnich got the ball. It breaks for Sharp.
Rush of blood there from Lee Sharp. First and foremost, Kanchelskis' touch. It gives Bosnich a chance. The ball's played behind Shontil, but from here, that touch means the goalkeeper can come, and he does well from there. But look at the back post, look at Keane. And there's Mark Hughes there as well. And Lee Sharp blasts her over the top. That touch, and the goalkeeper picks his moment perfectly to get his hands to it. Well, here, when you need a little bit of composure, that's not Lee Sharp that we know.
Actually, Lee Sharp and Roy Keane have a bet going this season as to who will score the most goals, and maybe Lee wanted to add to his tally. He's leading at the moment by 9-6, rather than set up someone who might take some money off him. I'm sure, of course, that was the last thing on his mind. But they might have a joke about it if Manchester United are celebrating a victory at the end of the afternoon. Characteristic, combative play from Ince. The adventurous Mark Bosnich again. McGrath. Callister.
Got to get hold of balls like that, man. Sorry, Dean Saunders. And McGrath played him a lovely ball. And really, it's up to the front man to get hold of it and protect it. And he really didn't do that very well there.
Actually, we saw Nick Collins having a word with Ron Atkinson as the Aston Villa manager came down the tunnel. We'll get to hear about that in a moment. Cantona. Nick, tell us all.
Martin, well, Ron Atkinson's thoughts at this stage of the proceedings are, we've got to believe we can still get something out of this game. We're playing well enough, but United are playing very well. As to whether there'll be any changes, he said, well, we'll have to wait and see, though both substitutes are still warming up.
Thanks, Nick. Came off Paul Parker. Hughes. Andy, there were certainly areas that Villa would want to improve from their first half showing, but it really wasn't a case of Villa playing badly, just trying to keep pace with the best side in the country.
They are, and that's true, but they did fall down in the last third, I thought, quite a bit. The build-up play to the sort of area we see them in now was good, but from there on in the last third where it really matters, they just seem to lack the ideas to get through the United rear guard. And that's the area they've got to improve in most in the second half.
This run, 5 league games without a win before today, is their worst for 21 months. Home to Southampton was a shoddy performance, but they've done reasonably well in losing at Liverpool, playing well on the day. Should have won at Queen's Park Rangers, Ron Atkinson will tell you. Good game with Sheffield Wednesday at home, and then that loss at Villa Park to Wimbledon. Parker. Hughes. Sharp is in the centre. Parker trying to keep the pressure on. Kanchelskis. Important phase of the game, this. Aston Villa, having had the chance to assess the first half, to come out here and try and improve in various facets of their game, knowing that Manchester United, for all their domination, haven't left them behind.
Now that's the important part of the match for Villa. They're still there, they're still in with a genuine chance. If they can keep it tight at the back, just springing it at the back once, and that once might be enough.
Parker. Here's Kanchelskis. The charge is on again. Well, it took 3 to stop him, and they stopped him in such a way that Joe Worrell didn't feel the need to blow his whistle. Richardson has a ball onto the right this time. Cox is where Richardson expected him to be. Barrett goes outside him. Cox again. Richardson.
That's such a difficult ball, Mark, that Kevin Richardson's trying to play. A straight ball down the middle into a packed defence for runners.
Atkinson turning into the tackle from Ince, who tries to hound down Sean Teal. The side still in the League Cup, of course, and the FA Cup involvement to look forward to in the new year.
I think one of the biggest things that they've missed today, Aston Villa, has been that natural left-sided player, particularly Steve Staunton, who played so well in both fixtures in that forward position ahead of Brian Small. And I think they've missed that more than anything today.
But it's an absorbing afternoon for a big crowd. Let's get confirmation of how big here. Well, almost 44,500. And look at that for the season so far in the Premiership. And that's up on last year's figures. So much talk about Manchester United killing off the league as a spectacle with their domination of it. Those statistics don't show that. And after all, when they're playing as they are, the league leaders, they'll be packing grounds all over the country. Right to May.
Well, it's up to the rest to do something about that, Martin, to make it more of a contest. At the moment, Manchester United are doing exactly what their manager wants, what their fans want to see, and that's winning the league title at the moment by a long margin.
Leeds certainly trying to muster something in terms of a challenge. We'll see just how good Blackburn are next Sunday, perhaps, when they come here. Header by Cox. Barrett. Ferguson's side not quite firing so far in the second half. Parker trying to join the list of scorers. His name is the absentees. Atkinson. So Whittingham up with him. Bruce incurring the attention of the referee because of the angle of the tackle.
Don't think he agreed with his decision, did he, Steve Bruce?
Quick free kick. Teal going in. Richardson. Now, what sort of cross can Small come up with here? It's not his strongest suit. Atkinson. That's nicely done to get the better of Ince. It flies away, but it was a more encouraging moment for Aston Villa, despite the derision from the Manchester United fans. It all came from a free kick for the foul awarded against Steve Bruce.
I thought he got an awful lot of the ball there. In fact, he does. And I think you can see there from that shot why he was so upset at Joe Worrell's decision. Perhaps the referee's angle wasn't that great.
Well, Joe Worrell certainly didn't see it the way we saw it on the replay. In either sense. The flag stayed down. Lee Sharp was coming back from an offside position. But at 1-0, that was a very ambitious ball, though, in the end, an effective one from Schmeichel. Kanchelskis wriggling free. Hughes letting him go. Now Sharp. Keane herring into the centre. Cantona lurking on the edge. Sharp hasn't been able to show us the quality in his crossing. He's run the ball out several times, trying to get a better angle.
Neil Cox has played him well today, I think, Martin. Always a handful, Lee Sharp, for anybody. Not only has Neil Cox defended well, he's also asked Lee Sharp some questions of his own going forward into the opposing half. I think he's had a good game for me, the right back. He really has.
Hughes just showing some interest at moving towards Bosnich, but not enough to give the goalkeeper any palpitations. Ince. Still 1-0 to Manchester United. And Richardson picks it off. There are two up with him. Atkinson and Saunders. If he plays it right, there might be a chance here for Dean Saunders. Will it come back for Richardson? It does! He battered the ball goalwards, and Schmeichel, that strong man, was solidly behind it.
Well, that's the best situation Villa have had in the match. They really should have made more of it.
And it reminds us that it is still a match.
You look at this, I just thought Saunders maybe should have started his run in earlier, but from here, the ball wasn't perfect, the touch wasn't great. To get the run of it there, it's a difficult one for Kevin Richardson, and all he can do is hit it straight at Peter Schmeichel. But it was a glorious opportunity for them.
In the end, it was a more difficult version of the chance Cantona had when he gave Manchester United the lead. Ince, Irwin comes up alongside him. Ince, encouraged by that goal at Newcastle last weekend, tries his own luck. Flags up.
That's the danger. That would worry Alex Ferguson at times. His team throws so many men forward, as they did in that last attack, and one bad ball from Paul Ince. It's cut out, and then the 3 against 2 at the back. In a game where they've really, apart from the opening few minutes, they've looked very much in control.
Well, the game is not won yet for Manchester United. The side that have made winning such a habit in 1993. Saunders, and that scurrying style of his, in that difficult area of the playing surface.
That was a much better position he got himself in for the pass. Wide of the centre-back, somewhere to run in to give him problems.
The problem for Villa as they go chasing the game is this type of situation. Some drastic measures required. Now, Neil Cox, I think he probably has hurt himself, but it just crossed my mind, having been booked in the first half, that he might be looking for some sympathy from the referee.
It may be. I think he does jar himself as he goes down. He has a quick look there, you see, and then decides perhaps it's in my favour if I stay down here and pretend I'm a little bit injured. But I don't think there's an awful lot wrong with that tackle, Mark, in all honesty. Certainly not, it doesn't warrant a booking.
It's been a very good contest between the two young men.
It has.
It's lasted almost an hour, and I just wonder whether it's going through Alex Ferguson's mind, the Ryan Giggs question.
Oh, I'm sure it is.
The player that, if we believe what we read, the player that Milan want to pay millions and millions for, a substitute for his club today. Coming up to 15 minutes gone in the second half. Villa, of course, started the first half well, and then Manchester United made them look second best. Parker. And a good attitude shown by Ron Atkinson's players since the half-time interval.
Well, they weathered the storm after the opening goal, Mark, very, very well. The important thing was they didn't concede a second, and they've kept themselves in there.
Kanchelskis kicked the ball away. And some referees would have seized on that. But the complaint came from Small, not from Joe Worrell. Keane, Ince, Hughes. Nicely constructed.
Well, he's got the taste of it last week, didn't he? Paul Ince, his first goal of the season against Newcastle, and once or twice today he's looked to get himself in positions like this on the edge of the box and shown he's not afraid to hit it.
He said to me last week after the game, I don't start scoring till December. I hadn't checked it, but he thought his first goal last season was in the Manchester Derby here, a game that we covered around this time of year. Cantona, the scorer today. Schmeichel has tried one or two ambitious passes. This time it's the big hoof down the middle for Hughes.
Hey, we've got him in
was spotted by McGrath. Keane getting the better of Small. Hughes checking out, making space for himself, but the ball wasn't quite hit hard enough. McGrath was able to intervene. Kanchelskis. Hooked out by Teal this time. Not very far, though, off the head of Saunders and out of play. United having to show some patience here. Is that a foul throw? It was. And it will give Ron Atkinson an opportunity to make a change, to bring on Tony Daly, but to take off Dean Saunders.
And honestly, all honesty, Martin, I'm not surprised that he's made the change. I think there comes a time in games where you have to try something different. Tony Daly is certainly that. And at the moment, Dean Saunders is the striker who's suffering most in the goal-scoring stakes.
Cox kept it in. Sharp back to help defend. It's hard to take, though, when you're a regular goal scorer and your side's losing and you're the one taken off. But I suppose a regular goal scorer is what Dean Saunders isn't at the moment. I'm sure he'll light the fuse again soon.
What it means they've done around the pitch, Mark, they've tucked El Barrett back into his position at right back and moved Neil Cox further up into that right-sided midfield area with Whittingham and Atkinson up front. Now what's important for Tony Daly is that he gives him some width. He's been on the pitch about a minute, and at the moment he's been in the middle of the pitch, exactly where Dean Saunders was. So I do think it is important to pull him wide a bit.
Tony Daly, whose dreams of going to Italy were shattered when the deal set up by Udinese fell apart. Well, that's again what Small does very well. Richardson. Barrett. Now McGrath. Lee Sharp was late.
In actual fact, I've misled you slightly, Mark. They've actually not moved Cox further forward, which is what I thought they would do. It looks like they're still going to persist with El Barrett playing against Cantona, and Cox just making forward runs from right back.
Daly is, of course, such a danger on the counter-attack if they can get the ball to him in the right areas. The destiny of this match, and such an important one it is, still in the melting pot. Aston Villa have come through some difficult times here at Old Trafford this afternoon. It's the question of whether they can see some light at the end of a long, dark tunnel. Daly. When Eric Cantona crowned a lengthy spell of Manchester United supremacy with the game's opening goal, Aston Villa supporters would have feared the worst, I think. They'll be pleased with the present situation, given that first half. Atkinson. Bruce a bit too strong for him. Ince keeping it short. Kanchelskis giving it away. Richardson. As he was challenged by Hughes. And now there's a ball on here for Hughes. That's more good defending by Small. Working hard once more to justify his selection. Kanchelskis. Daly doing the tackling. Ince. Oh, no one close enough to Kanchelskis. Time to turn. of Villa players around him, but certainly not closing him down. Ince. Will Aston Villa regret that? The attack still going on through Hughes. And now with Keane.
Minus a boot, Roy Keane.
Well, that's one way of evening the odds a bit, I suppose.
You see, it just comes off there, and he's off and running. But he's still determined enough to earn his side a free kick in a very dangerous area.
Well, I was at Leeds yesterday when a free kick in this sort of position unhinged Arsenal from Gary McAllister. Sharp, looking in the same area. Bosnich came and Teal headed it from his grasp. Daly for Atkinson. Paul Parker just had to try and see the ball. And Joe Worrell concerned for the Manchester United number 2. Atkinson was coming forward at pace. He hadn't actually, I don't think, totally mastered the control of the ball, and Parker stepped in.
An awkward challenge. Two of them get tangled up, and Bailey and Atkinson lands on you. You know all about it. He's a solid lad.
Well, he has his ebbs and flows to his game, Daly and Atkinson, but he's still a player capable of influencing a major match like this one. Paul Parker's okay. It's been a challenging response by Aston Villa to their adversity. Hasn't been easy for Manchester United in the second half, but there's no question that in one moment they can re-establish themselves. And should a second goal happen for Alex Ferguson's team, you really couldn't see Aston Villa responding to that. Daly. Parker playing safe. A year ago, you would have found Manchester United 4th in the table with 34 points compared to the 49 that they had before this match. They were behind Norwich, behind Villa, and behind Blackburn then. And of course, their reputation at that particular time were of the team that had blown the title the year before. It's been a very, very good year for Manchester United.
Funny stage though, the game, Mark. No one's really in top, are they? You're not too sure which way it's going to fall. You're really not. Manchester United, they look at that point with the 1-0 up and they're thinking, well, we're 20 minutes away and we don't want to commit too many men forward and risk another break. It almost cost us a goal a little earlier, and you can understand that, and Villa not quite sure what to do in response.
Yes, it's been a very even second half. Want to take a risk or two, they're trying to do that, but they know if they're over-ambitious in looking for an equaliser, well, the game may be taken from them, or the powers of recovery may be taken from them. I think the crowd are a bit confused by the second half as well.
The supporters' response to trying to lift their team. I think they can see that the game's at that really awkward, funny stage, and the supporters are trying to rally their side.
Well, Sharp, whose game has been so frustrated today by Neil Cox, fouled his immediate opponent. Cox, who's got a lot of experience as a regular in Laurie McMenamin's under-21 setup, as has been Brian Small. ball away. And Keane being told to get up and get on with it by Joe Worrell because the ball rolled on to Manchester United's advantage with Sharp. Small, who's been responsible really for Villa's problems in the first place. Ince, Kanchelskis, Parker, Keane and Hughes. The build-up goes on with Irwin, but it's in front of Villa at the moment. Ince trying to get his body position right so he could impart some swerve on the ball to embarrass Bosnich. In the end, wasn't exactly a case of embarrassing himself, but he could have done better. Beneath the bobble hat, one of the most famous faces in football. He might just have had the call. Sharp is offside. He might be a candidate to go off. Andrei Kanchelskis has felt the hook, as they say, a good few occasions in the past.
Mark Hughes has felt the hook.
Well, he did last weekend, of course.
I honestly can't understand Tony Daly's position, Martin. I honestly thought he'd come on and provide Aston Villa with a bit more width, and there he finds himself right in the middle of the pitch, just doing exactly what's been happening previously. I thought they would have said to him, get on that wing, get yourself away, get some chalk on your boots, as you used to say in the old days, and try and open up the back four a little bit more.
Well, Manchester United might be a bit uneasy here. Richardson with the free kick. Whittingham is a real poacher in the penalty area, of course. Villa have chased some away games successfully this season. Of course, they've only lost once on their travels. That was at Liverpool. I was at Arsenal when they were 1-0 down and then came back with 2 late goals to win it. Kanchelskis, Teal saying that he went for the ball. Cantona is calling on Jim McGregor for some instant attention to Andrei Kanchelskis.
I think he's a bit unlucky, and the reason why is I thought his touch there was too far in front of Kanchelskis, and it was only his pace that rescued the situation, and he tempted Teal into the tackle. It looks a horrible tackle, but I think the worst it was mistimed. I really do. I have some sympathy with him there. It's a golden opportunity really for Andrei Kanchelskis. His first touch been better to really go and commit Teal. I think it would have been very, very harsh had that colour been red.
But what is the legacy of the challenge? Gordon Cowan's to the left of Ron Atkinson as we look. Alec Ferguson, who was named by the World Soccer magazine the World Manager of the Year. It's caused him a bit of embarrassment in the Manchester United camp. The players have been teasing him about it. But he might have to make a managerial decision here. Kanchelskis isn't going to make it easy for him by going off injured. Not yet. Cantona takes the free kick. Pallister. His defensive pal Steve Bruce alongside him there in attack. Pallister again. There's a ball out here. Cantona was the easier target. Pallister was looking for Kanchelskis. Aston Villa, you do feel sensing some hope here. Daly. Richardson. For Daly again. Parker getting in. That was Whittingham with a little flick. McGrath trying to keep the action in United territory. On the ground he knows so well. Small. Keane was in the wards for a moment there. Atkinson. The referee not helping Kanchelskis defend. Daly. Keane got the ball, but presumably was penalised for going in with studs showing.
No, I can't believe that decision. Can't believe it. Keane's committed to that ball. Look at that. He catches the ball there, takes ball in man, but he certainly takes the ball first. And that's why Manchester United players were so furious.
Well, is this the chance that Villa have been waiting for? Parker. Barrett. Watched by Sharp. Teal will keep it in. The boos go up for him for that incident with Kanchelskis, in which Teal was booked. Cox. Aston Villa taking it to the wire here. McGrath, great tackle. Parker. Well, it looked as though Earl Barrett coming in from the far side might find his way for an equaliser, and then Whittingham was hoping that the cross could get beyond Pallister, who had other ideas.
That is an absolutely brilliant defensive header from Gary Pallister, because the cross has got real quality in there. Look what a difficult decision he's got to make, and what a difficult header he had to make, and he made them both perfectly.
Well, I just wonder, Andy, whether we're watching here a period of play that might have some influence over the second half of the season. Can Aston Villa claw a goal back? If so, a third successive home draw for Manchester United. Encouragement for others who've got to come here, particularly the big guns in the next couple of games. See, Roy Keane has spilt blood in the cause here. Blackburn next Sunday. You'll see it live on Sky Sports. Leeds United on New Year's Day. Games at Old Trafford, where the challengers might be able to regain some lost ground. It was hurly-burly in the penalty area.
Slowly but surely, slowly but surely from about the hour mark. United haven't been as convincing as they were earlier in the match, and Villa began to exert some pressure of their own, and it's building and building slowly.
Michael with an authoritative catch, a quick kick, and it's a direct route for Manchester United. A mistake by Small. Kanchelskis hasn't got much help. It's arriving now in the shape of Hughes. Oh, deflected by Teal, but it looked for a second as though it would be a telling deflection. It wasn't. Atkinson. Aston Villa really taking up the cudgels here. There were signs in the first half that this game would be settled by this stage and maybe earlier. It's certainly not.
Credit Aston Villa. They've kept themselves in the game. They've battled and scrapped really well. And at a very important time in the game, they're starting to put some pressure on Manchester United.
And here comes Ryan Giggs. Lee Sharp hasn't been able to influence proceedings like he did when the two sides met down at Villa Park at the start of the season. Genuine wishes of success there as the two pass. They're great friends as well as rivals for a particular job in the side. And there is a wonderful spirit in the Manchester United dressing room. I suppose you'd be surprised if there wasn't in these circumstances, but the players have been together, the vast majority of them, for 3 or 4 years. It was a point Alex Ferguson was making to me earlier today. Parker spinning it wide for Neil Cox. Whittingham. Brushed aside by Ince. Teal not making it easy for McGrath, but the two of them enough to stop Manchester United there. Whittingham chasing, out comes Schmeichel.
Spare a thought for Neil Cox, Martin. 80 minutes he's played against Sharp, played him as well as anybody this season.
Seen him off.
Sees him off, looks across at the touchline, who's going on to face him? Ian Giggs.
Well, we know Giggs has got plenty about him, but I think Cox has shown that we can use the same expression today. Big game. Tough one for the youngsters. We've got another big game for you tomorrow night, of course, the West London derby. Terrific rivalry between Queen's Park Rangers and Chelsea. Sure to be a warm old night in the FA Carling Premiership down in Shepherd's Bush. And you can watch it on Sky Sports.
You don't often see that when the ball, Paul Parker just ushering the ball out of play, just steps across Tony Daly's line. You see it every time in football. Hardly ever a free kick given, but Joe Worrell was having none of it there.
Seven minutes to go. A lot of the clubs in the Premiership urging Aston Villa on here.
I'd shove Neil Cox forward and just go three at the back for his run, which he might be doing with Barrett McGrath and Teal, and just push Neil Cox right forward on that right-hand side, because he's been their best outlet wide for all of the game.
It's Aston Villa's 16th away game of the season. They've won 7, drawn 7, and just lost the 1. And I think you can see in the second half how they've done it. They've got commendable application on their travels. And they're pushing Manchester United back. Whittingham. Away by Ince, but not very far. McGrath saws that. Gary Parker again. Whittingham. Richardson is there. Oh, and Daly was as well on the shot by Cox.
Well, he had every right to hit it. But again, I tell you, they didn't look happy at the back. Manchester United had all sorts of trouble trying to clear this. Whittingham looking to set up Richardson, who drags it wide, but then is always struggling a little bit. And he's got every right to hit this Neil Cox, but doesn't control it at all.
And it's an edgy end to the game for Alex Ferguson's team. Relatively quiet here at Old Trafford, and that's a compliment to Aston Villa. McGrath. But as Villa with a genuine target of a European place for next season in terms of a high league position, they will draw something from this even if they lose the game.
They'll draw a lot more if they can get something out.
You spoke there for the first time like a man with a little bit of an interest in the Villa camp in your past life.
Totally unbiased, totally unbiased, man.
You kept your past very much under wraps today. Well, Schmeichel can take his time. Barrett. Cantona. The juggling from Small. Hughes wanting to see that. Kanchelskis. Foot in by Richardson. Keane. Richardson again. Does so much good work to keep it ticking over for Aston Villa in midfield. Owen improvising with the header.
He's really the Paul Ince of Aston Villa. Does that role, gets in there, gets his tackles in, keeps it simple, passes it simple. Players, you would call them.
McGrath. Daly in the middle again. Not to the liking of Andy Gray. McGrath. Manchester United at the moment just making sure that their marking is right. Keane making a run alongside Parker. Alistair there. The ball dropped beyond both of them. Daly. Barrett has given it straight to Hughes. Cantona against Teal. And in comes Ryan Giggs. Bosnich again. Shows what a goalkeeper Manchester United lost when they decided to go for Schmeichel. But they've had no complaints, of course, from the Danish international or about the Danish international. Here's Cantona, who worked that so well to line it up for Giggs. Keane. Whittingham with the tackle. Parker. Kanchelskis. Small again, stopping the supply. Well, how Aston Villa ruining that one moment when they almost had too many players back in their own penalty area. It deflected off Earl Barrett into Cantona's path for a straightforward chance, which is looking more and more as though it's going to decide the game. It's Kanchelskis. Whittingham. Good defending from the front by Manchester United. In the first half, they put on a real show, Alex Ferguson's team. But Aston Villa have shown some resolve in the second half. Just once or twice they've threatened the equaliser. And their previous record this season shows that they really go the distance away from home. Parker, Cantona wants it hit long. The linesman has a good look and decides the Frenchman is onside. Guided back beautifully for Hughes. Here's Giggs. Across goes McGrath. Giggs is past him. Cantona. Well, Giggs might yet get it. And Cox was the key defender there with some appeals from the crowd, but not from many Manchester United players.
Did well, Neil Cox, because he had to make a lot of ground up. He had been caught upfield chasing an equaliser. He made all the way back, all the ground back into his own penalty area.
Daly, Richardson, Whittingham. But this Manchester United defensive unit, and one of them, Bruce, puts Cantona away. He's in, he's scored, it's the game over now. Eric Cantona has made absolutely sure.
Well, it is game, set, match now. Cantona's run, you can see it, he loses Barrett. I still think, well, Paul McGrath's got a chance here. But look at Cantona. Not only does he get the touch perfect, he manages to keep his balance in a really difficult situation. And we never doubted whether he had the composure to finish it off, did we? That's a crucial touch, but look at the way he keeps his balance and strokes it so confidently past Mark Bosnich.
The man who's made for this club, it seems. Old Trafford, his stage. And he's a star amongst stars. Hughes. Oh, it'll be hard on Villa if they concede yet another one here. And they might. Barrett's given it to Ince. They have done. 3-0.
Well, I feel for El Barrett, Martin. The first half, it's his deflection. It took the ball into Cantona's path. The second goal, he lets Cantona run and he punishes him. And this time, when he's just trying to nurse it back to the goalkeeper, he gets it hopelessly wrong. And Paul Ince is suddenly suddenly found goals.
Well, that's what happens. You can contain Manchester United for so long, but when they break free, look what damage they do. 2 goals in a matter of seconds. Aston Villa can still go off the pitch with their heads reasonably high, but the scoreline looks so much worse when it's seen around the world, which it will be, and taken into account. Villa and United, who were so close to each other last season, now on this particular scoreline, on this particular afternoon, far apart.
Where it matters most for Martin, in my opinion, in football. And that's in the last third.
Oh, they've got one back, and it's Neil Cox who deserves it more than any other player for Aston Villa. 3-1. What a flurry of goals in the closing stages here. It was a 1-0 game, it seemed, for so long.
Incredible. I mean, he's the one man, as you say, who's caused problems up that end of the pitch. Got in ahead of Ryan Giggs, showed great determination to make something out of a hopeful ball, really, when it looks as if Ryan Giggs is favourite to clear this up. And he forces himself in front, and that's a super finish. He's in a very, very good game. He's been very impressive. Probably the pick of Aston Villa's players.
Well, knowing what a hard taskmaster Alex Ferguson is, I bet he'll be livid about that.
But that's been the difference, we're saying. This has been the last third. It's so important in football. United have always looked that they were capable of scoring, whereas I think Villa haven't.
Well, halfway through the marathon, Manchester United have a massive lead, 13 points to the good. 2 goals from Eric Cantona here, and 1 from Paul Ince. A league double completed over the biggest danger to them last season. A 16th win to go with 4 draws and just 1 defeat. 52 points out of 63. Fantastic figures. Aston Villa stood their corner in the second half. They could have been brushed aside in the first. Neil Cox, who had an outstanding game in both halves of the pitch, got a goal for Ron Atkinson's team. Blackburn Rovers, the next challengers here next Sunday. Leeds United on New Year's Day. And Eric Cantona against Leeds United, that'll be well worth keeping an eye on. Trips to Oldham, where they lost last March, and to Liverpool, where the tension will be enormous. Still some potential banana skins on United's Premiership path, but with each passing week, it's becoming ominous for the others. The final score here, with a real flurry of goals at the end. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1. Let's get a verdict on the game from the United captain. Steve Bruce is with Nick Collins.
Well, Steve, congratulations. 3-1 on paper looks a convincing win, but there were times in the second half it looked quite tough for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's always going to be a tough game. We expected that. For all credit to the lads, they've stuck in well there. We've defended well until the last 10 seconds, but it was a good win for us, and I think everybody's enjoyed it.
How significant a win do you think this is now that you're 13 points clear again?
Well, I mean, this thing's being said and all the rest of it. All we're doing is, it's a daft cliche, innit? But we can only just take one game and try and open a big gap as we can. We've got a big month coming up. We're all looking forward to it. And let's see how we go after this month.
Let's bring Paul Ince here, who scored United's 3rd goal. Paul, after a couple of home draws, how important was it to get a win today?
Like Steve said, a lot of people expect us to fall by the wayside. Expect us to hiccup, and as you said, we've got a couple of big games coming. Start on this one today, and we come out well.
This is a big month for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it's definitely. We've got probably all the top 3 or 4 sides to play over Christmas. So as I say, if we can come out of that like 13 points clear, that's pretty hard for people to catch us.
It was perhaps not the classic that this game was last year. Nevertheless, it was compulsive throughout. Do you think sides are really trying to make it hard for you here now?
Well, you've got to give respect to Villa. They come and try to win the game. Whereas some sides would come and play 5 at the back. So, as I say, the pitch turned up a bit. It was hard to really play. We didn't really play well the second half, but we got the chances and scored.
Steve, a quick word about Eric Cantona's contribution this afternoon.
Well, I mean, he just oozes class, doesn't he? I mean, they've played a man-to-man Will Barrett today, but he's got 2 goals there today, and what can you say about the fella? He's fantastic.
Well, listen, Eric's been named the Carling Man of the Match. Perhaps
we're not giving an interview with you.
Perhaps he'll accept it. You'll present it on our behalf. There's even a bit of tinsel on there as well. Well done, lads. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if Steve Bruce can organise that, we will have an interview with him. 3-1. I saw people streaming out of the ground at 1-0. They won't believe the scoreline when they get home. Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 1. As As Martin said, a real flurry of goals at the end there. That's United 13 points clear again. We'll be looking back on a smashing match in the company of Sammy McElroy and Peter With after the break. Welcome back, 3-1 to Manchester United. We'll check the rest of the match facts in a moment, but first of all, Alex Ferguson.
Well, Alex, congratulations. What pleased you most about this afternoon's victory?
Well, I think that the players showed great team spirit together, a good team effort. But Eric Cantona's second goal was magnificent. But overall, it was a good team performance.
You had to, in a sense, display defensive as well as attacking qualities in that second half, didn't you?
Well, they overloaded into the midfield, and obviously they were going to get the ball because it was the same thing last season. So we decided that we wouldn't bother too much about that.
Are clubs making it harder and harder for you to try and play and win here?
Well, it's a measure of respect. Ron Atkinson's changed his principles of his normal system, and he's went man-marked to Eric Cantona. But we'll still won the game 3-1 and Eric scored 2.
Now, you said in the programme that you regard the next few weeks as one of the most challenging months of the season, and it's unfolding that way in a sense, isn't it?
Well, it's hard for everyone. They're all going to drop points. We can only do our job properly. We've got 2 home games in December against Blackburn Rovers on Boxing Day and Leeds United New Year's Day. And in between we have Oldham away. So it's a good programme. It's a tough one, but it's the kind of programme that keeps you on your edge. And they're all local derbies too, which is a good thing too.
How do you keep the players motivated when you're the defending champions and you're 10, 12 points clear? How do you keep them motivated to keep pulling off performances like that?
Well, it's a measurement of the team that their progress and their developed since winning the championship. And there's great confidence in the whole club. I think these things are important. It's been instrumental, really, in their charge to the top of the league. Players are going out into the park with great belief in themselves. The support are so relaxed about it, and the chemistry is right for us because of that.
An extraordinary end to the game with those 3 goals in 2 minutes, but although you conceded a goal, presumably overall you're fairly happy about what's happened.
Yeah, we're not happy the goal we lost actually, because considering we defended very well in that particular type of thing all day. But young Ryan's just come on, he's cold maybe, he's more interested in getting forward, as you know, that's the type of player he is. But he's got caught auto and sort of bobbled up a bit, and the boy got in front of him. But the game was won then, you know, and it's very easy to relax because the manner in which we scored the 2 goals were so exciting that people can stop for a minute or two. I thought actually when Eric scored his goal, it was well over time. In my watch, in my calculation, the game should have been finished maybe 20-30 seconds beforehand. But in terms of what do you call it, spectator enjoyment, you know, 3 goals in, I don't know, what, a minute or something?
Yeah,
a minute and a half, something like that, yeah. Well, that's what we want, isn't it?
Well, a great Christmas present early for you there, 3 more points.
It's a good start.
Well done, Alex.
Thanks.
Thank you for joining us.